was thinking after, yeah, so I just gave Brad a key. What we have. That's good. So now we have a machine. That's like that's.
We could have Rob come, right? He did have this.
Right now, call to order the common council meeting for the budget.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Well, yeah, thank you for those that are here to serve today. And we ask now, we go in these hearings that we may keep an open mind, that decisions we make here are for the benefits of all within our community. Since we ask your sons. And yeah. First up, I think Tom announced earlier, we don't have any income. Final
Right.
income numbers.
And along that, with that sheet they usually give you that has the estimated tax rates. It's not. I'll get that to you. I'm probably gonna have that to you. Maybe. They had. ELGF has. But. Could have, you have, meet. Timing. Time. Block and page number. Different funds. Department. At that, Brad, I guess Brad is. Brad, you're the house. And that.
This is Chief's first one, so. Oh, yeah, that's right. You did.
I forgot. Each blocks, starting on page 37. Real bottom. Yeah. I do want to say that you have a bid opening. That committee has a bid opening at 10 o'clock, so we'll have to, and it's scheduled for here, so everybody can. Let's see the water bids open. That's fun.
And we'll let you know that Jay Smirkle is in Indianapolis today. And dealing with a medical issue with his family. If we want to take that to the end, or that budget, it's pretty much a flat budget. Other than the detail here, what it's going through. Things are fine. It's just something that's necessary that has.
We don't have anything at 10 o'clock. From 10 to 11. Well, okay.
Well, that's where I'll fill in too.
Rob, okay. Oh, that's true, yeah.
So, the first one would be the department head salaries, 4%. Clerical wages, 4% increase. That's all right. Overtime. Looking at our overtime this year, it looks like we're doing pretty good. So I did not go back to increase that at all. Housekeeping, 4% increase. The assistant chief's salaries, 4% increase. Lieutenant, 4%. Sergeant position, so that was changed from the detective sergeant last year, just a title change basically on the paperwork. 4%. Patrolman, category. 4%. Standby. Send. Still doing that weekly. Officer on call. Christmas bonus, it was $30.
Yeah, that just varies with number of people, that longevity of the people that's had.
Vacation, no increase, or vacation buyback, no increase. Generally, most of our guys take the vacations. The K-9 officer is the first one that I figured would raise some questions. As you all know, we now have 2 K-9s. So I increased that to where we can hopefully get an agreement with between the city and the K-9 handler to do the off-duty. On their off-duty days, they'll be taking care of the animal for a half hour. The days that they're working, they get an hour, it's fixed into their shift, so they work 12 hours in there, they get an hour to take care of any kind of training or obedience, an hour per shift. Which generally they do more, just because if they don't stay on top of them, then they'll get behind. Dog that's like this. Yeah. That allows them to groom them, feed them, do their obedience on their days off and stuff like that. That's what that increases for there.
Are we supplying the food and stuff in the boat?
No,
They do.
no, so we have. Jorge filled out the agreement with Peter's Pet Supply. They are gracious enough to donate all that food.
Yeah.
So all we have to do is go, all the K-9 handler does is just run over there and pick it up. Everything's provided at no cost to us. We used to have an agreement with Rural King that they did. But I've since talked to an assistant manager there, and he said if we're ever in a pinch and Peters runs out, to give them a call, and they would be willing to help us out. So it's always nice to have a backup, because feeders, that they do run out of the dog food that they use. Going down the list.
You have a change where you have deduction and put that corporal.
Yeah,
Detectives, that's why there's a big increase in that 83.
yeah,
What was that? Didn't hear that.
so I'll just go down the list here. Animal control wages, 0% increase.
Sorry, how's that different than the one right above it, K-9 officer and animal wages?
So that's what correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but I think that's what we pay the street department to come out and pick up dogs. Yeah,
Gotcha.
The SRO. Position, 4%.
Were we supposed to get funding to assist on the school?
We're part of the SRO.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We get some.
Yeah.
How much of that is offset by the school?
How much did you? I thought it was 40. I want to say between 40 and 45 is what they bring.
It's around 135, 140, 3 years. Correct, and so it can all, if they skip a year, they can make it up next year, spend it out.
We get that.
Depends on how the grant, that's the way our grant works. We do, like, we did get it, like, but, with so much over 3 years, and then. Maybe 100%, maybe 100%, over the 3 years, everybody counts, so.
And then the big change on the detectives line. So we zeroed out the corporal's position. And then created, we had 2 detectives. We removed the sergeant title off of 1 detective and just made 2 regular detectives. The corporal at the time was Clint. He is now moved to detective, so that's why there's a big change. So like on this paper, it says corporal on here. But that's being changed to detective on my item. But it'll be in the ordinance, but
But it explains the 100%, if I mean, 3 lines down, 4 lines.
correct. Longevity. Down 1,000. Local. Wounded. For
We're gonna take another big jump. Wow.
How's that done? Just tell you what to vote.
State decides what you
The
want.
legislature says. They need to put pension balances increased.
health insurance.
Just have some families or something.
Right now needs to make up the
Make up of the employees and who
versus single versus family.
first is different. Health,
Health.
I'm gonna say first can be different. On your family.
Decrease in insurance.
We're gonna see that through probably every department, I would imagine. But
You know, like. So again, some up or down, and it also depends on even. Not necessarily the police, but in some other departments. Allocations between departments, whether it's paid by, or by utilities, or by. You split a lot of people.
okay. So it's not a rate decrease, it's just where the money's being budgeted or allocated to.
And Ricky.
The uniform line item. I'm not expecting any big changes in our roster for next year, our employees. I don't expect anybody to leave. And I don't expect to have to hire. So that's the reason for the decrease there.
Is that, it's very uniforms for instance.
Yeah. Includes uniforms, vests. I think we only have 1 vest that we gotta replace, which is about $1,000. Just to do that. Security.
That's what you. It's and
Yeah. Right here.
product. Estimating. Last year's could have been off. Yes.
The office supplies, other supplies, vehicle expense, no changes to those.
You guys normally use that budget completely, I don't see any increases, but
Which one?
is like office supplies or some of those that aren't being changed, do you normally use up?
We're pretty close to those, and then I know like our vehicle expense, it varies from time to time, just because. It breaks. Yeah, like our 2 oldest vehicles now. They're killing us. And I hate to put a bunch of money into them just because, you know, we get 1 or 2 vehicles, we're gonna trade those in. I don't wanna. Maintenance cost on them could be $10,000 a year, it's crazy. I just don't want.
Are those like backup vehicles or are
Yeah.
those the? Office
Full
one you already has to drive?
Cars.
Were they pull cars or they?
We use it for football games, first as basketball games. Reserve you can.
They need to be
We
up and running.
need them to be running. But 2 weeks ago, motor mount went out in mine. I mean, one of the pool cars. It ended up dying on 4th Street. Had to walk to the meeting. Yeah.
I just nonchalantly, I chose for them. It's a nice day.
PT.
Got the budget hearing the next week.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just, we've got to maintain them, just. I mean, we rely on them. Something that the pager goes out, those are something. Yeah.
How many total vehicles in your fleet now?
17. Try to maintain 2, just because of their fast football games. The high school wants to see between 2 and 4 officers, depending on sectional, postseason play. Same with basketball games. Any tournaments, we usually have 3, 4 guys.
So the 15 officers, the 15 officers, each one of them has a pretty reliable vehicle.
Yes.
Do you know what the average mileage is?
Year.
Can't really go with that because it's not verbal. That means 5 hours.
You're gonna use the hour meter more than anything. For the,
Yeah, I would say the year you're looking at probably 1,000, at least 1,000 miles a month. I mean, it's. In reality, it's not really much different than like a personal vehicle. It's like your personal vehicle, just because the schedule that we work. So. In reality, they don't work, half a month.
Sure.
So. It doesn't. It accrues over time. But. It's no different than you driving yours for 30 days than us driving like.
They're either idling or accelerating.
Yeah, it's in that city, so.
Yeah.
We don't hit the highway that much, other than 231. We don't have a lot.
How did you do with this year's budget? Where did you? Do we have that somewhere that what was? Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick to each one side of the section. Overall, I think we're doing well. There's some items in there that.
This is where I find it, where the actual numbers.
No, it'll be a. Yeah, you.
I got one right here.
You have it somewhere.
I do, I'm here, okay.
You have one for the end of the year of 24, and then you have one for June of 20.
In this packet you gave us, we have one?
No, this guy,
Okay,
Lawrence on board.
no more.
okay.
But anyway, looking at that, we got 15 active cars. 15 full-time cars and 2 backups, so 15 cars, the best in $2,000 per car. Maintenance of user. Doesn't seem that it says. Maintenance. is Getting out of hand.
And it's the one-offs.
For $78, $90 oil changes now.
I think both of our pool cars we've had to replace, like the CV axles and stuff like that for the last year. We hope to get rid of them before the fishing goes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You try to. Alleviate.
What is the plan in there? How you guys do that? If you put 2 new cars in the fleet, did it?
Right now.
Select down
Yeah,
The seniority scale, is that how it
kind of,
works?
yeah, so whoever. The last one to get a new car was Mitchell, the past year, he was driving home in car, that was into one. It means like next year, it will be, I, he's driving a 17 car right now. And that one would be, or no, that one would be hopefully traded in if we are able to get two vehicles. Because between that one and the 16, you know, we have 14, 16, and 17 target yet. 14 to 16 are seat on positions. And 17 of the doors.
But in the fall.
Yeah. So, done the math, but 15 people, 17 cars. How are you replacing a car every year?
And I think talking to other agencies, I know Princeton, they do 3 cars every year. And they don't have a vehicle that's older than like 6 or 7 years old, and they don't have near the maintenance issues. Just because they're trading in on a 6-year rotation, and they're getting a lot more for trade on the back end. So one, not budgeting for more maintenance, and 2, they're not budgeting for the car. That's 3 cars.
No, comparatively, what's the
15 also, 15 or 16.
But we'll see better numbers on that. I don't know if there's some kind of a spreadsheet or something that would you'll be able to see those cost savings. I'd be interested in that. There's a couple of reasons. One, the car has to be delivered. You can't have a car not started. Go on a shift, but I guess it's way to kind of right. But you need to be
Well, the ones that do not have issues like that, they don't turn it off, and whenever we get them fixed as quickly as we can, whenever we know it's there. We just, I mean, I would like to use someone local to fix them, but Billy, he's so busy. And I can't expect him to drop everything he's got into fixing the car cars. We have to depend on Washington Chrysler team, I'm thinking about. They usually do most of the maintenance of all of our.
There's a certain, when you see a police car driving down the road, the newer ones, just, I don't know, I'm describing it in a clumsy way, but to just give you sort of a sense of pride to know that that your officers are driving good vehicles and as opposed to, something that doesn't look as.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate, we're definitely fortunate for the vehicles that we have. Because going to someplace like Indy, they drive cars in the world. I mean, it's just the way it is.
You say we're parking a state motor pool, and I can attest to the state that these set of cars are like that are not that great. So
Definitely fortunate on that aspect. It's just the reliability.
Our officers are in situations. That's also a very fortunate thing is that we live in that same area.
Essentially waving the line, it's almost an reputation. It's close to that. So
We're doing two.
some communities are anywhere from 6 to 12. Not in one community, they put their forces play back the car, so they might not get cut an entire speed of the car. Give them cars. I want them to respond for the city to our house to your house.
I mean, I feel like for the most part, though, the ones that we have in the fleet going every day are reliable, or do we need to change it? Okay.
Yeah, so the ones that we have are, other than our pool cars, they are reliable. Unless something. Right.
Yeah.
So the next car that comes out of your normal fleet will go into the pool. What's that? Right, reasonable expectation, so those
Yep.
2 cars that are becoming unreliable will be on within the next year or 2.
Yeah, if we're approved to get 2 vehicles, it'll be. Yeah, so like this year, we would get permission to place an order ahead of time, and that way you don't have to wait 6 months into the new year. Hopefully,
So a year or 2 ago, you traded in an active truck because it's causing you problems. Kept it.
About,
Sure.
You do,
the breeze, yeah,
think they
yeah,
do.
because you couldn't find parts for it. We were putting used parts on it from the junkyard. I mean, it just didn't make them, but for 3 or 4 years, and it costs us more maintenance than finding enough parts.
Doesn't matter, that's just an example, you'd be able to trade an active truck.
You get rid of the most troublesome cars.
Yeah.
But there is a plan in place for. I mean, it sounds like they're going to volunteer agreement for every 2 years or
On the next
get
page.
part of the year.
On the
Depends
next
whether you put the next page or not.
If you-
So,
Depends on if you get that.
That's right. Yeah, we were getting there.
yeah.
Keep going.
All right. Gasoline. Not increase that. The radio expense. There's a 0 there, just to fill you guys in. So I'm gonna go to the Rural Development Commission and ask for money. That was set aside for us for new radios. All but 3 radios are not supported right now. So if they go down, we have no backup to them. They weren't flashed, for one, but also the radio model itself is no longer supported by Motorola and cannot be worked on by them. So it has to be a third party, and then you may get radio that works back. But I have submitted grants through Norfolk, Being for Others, REC. And then I did get a donation of $2,000 to go towards that project. REC, we were awarded $2,500 towards that project. I'm still waiting on Norfolk Southern. I submitted a grant for $15,000, which was their max. And then I also submitted a grant to Being for Others, enough for 4 radios, which is roughly 36,000-ish. And it's a little bit more than that, but I don't know the exact number off the top.
That's the radio we're talking about, like something similar.
This radio right now, if you want to replace this, about $12,000.
You're doing the math of 36,000, radio.
Yeah. And the radios that we're going to are single band, this is a dual band. So it's got VHF being 800 on it. The new radios will have just 800.
You know what, yes, yeah.
Yeah. And I went with Donnie and Brad Beagle to their little development commission to kind of explain to them. So we're gonna get an 800 repeater for the city of Huntsburg, and that was in a backup. As to where VHF is kind of, it's more so used at fire departments just because they don't have a lot of funding to go to 800s. The rural ones. But the 800 repeater that we will put in, we will still be able to communicate with our dispatch center through it. And that will be our backup.
But the reason why it's so expensive is because it was far, right?
For 800, you can cut 420.
Yeah,
I mean, I think not for televised, it's important to people to know.
Yeah.
The reason why they're so expensive is because it is like so reliable.
Yeah.
It can go.
Helps you to
Always
place
be
it
there.
at school.
Yeah.
State usually 800.
X3, I think all the major departments use the 800. It was something that we transferred to 7 years ago, probably. Start fire, yeah, start.
We have insurance on those. Stuff.
They come with a warranty to a certain extent. The new ones come with a longer warranty.
It's great.
So,
Yeah.
so if So what he's saying is if you resist while you're being arrested, you break his radio,
You're really in for
he's
it.
going to
Yeah.
charge you.
Explain to them, Peter, back up on this necessary.
Yeah, so if the dispatch center ever goes down, as far as on the state side, I imagine they will work as fast as they can to get back on. Because it's a necessary thing. But if it does ever go down, we would be able to transfer to this repeater and monitor through our dispatch center. So they would be able to communicate with us through that. We could still maintain communication. And it's, yeah, and with this repeater, it would be used by the fire department, by us. And I believe that we would be able to have the capacity of that in my utility channel.
One water tower.
The big tower next to it. We're keeping the PHF, or the fire department's keeping the PHF repeater there for, because you guys are still using it. So that would, yeah,
I think a lot of local partners are still using DHF, so.
yeah.
The rural departments, they haven't had the funds to train wireless radios yet.
Exactly.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, at least those that are in charge of the fire,
Yeah.
fire department, but not every.
Yeah.
Because it's favorable, you know, develop it.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. That's why that's zero still. And hopefully we do not have any kind of maintenance on our radios. With brain maintenance. Would it be covered in the warranty?
Yeah.
The ammunition. Down 1,000.
Price. Down that way.
It's kind of leveled out, so it's not increasing anymore.
Yes.
And with what we've been ordering prior to, we've been able to maintain our training and be able to cycle out our whole ammo with that and then replace it with something. So we're able to cycle it a little bit then. And we are doing more training as far as firearm training, stuff like that. So a lot different training. So we've got training today and tomorrow actually. But we got one come out in March.
As the addition of the range been.
Yeah, it's been extremely helpful, because a lot of times we'll run out there while we're working, we have enough guys to cover the road. Guys will just run out there and do their qualifications, or, you know, depending on what training we're doing, whether they come in on the day off, if we're doing, you know, multiple people in one scenario, basically. Just like today, it's a 2-man scenario, so. Anybody that can make it and show up today, and then we'll run to the partners. Computer. So it's there. I don't think we use that whole budget. File. Used to. Anytime you know, get into stuff, or have to learn it or whatever. We would always pay to get packages. Something about that going through their drives, it's on washers and dryers. We take that generally to Jasper. And cleaning this.
Yeah, you can. A lot of those fluids or whatever, get them out of here.
Control expenses. That one I moved down. This year's been a lot less. If there are times that didn't move up.
That's for other people. It's not for police dogs, that's for other people dogs. or animals or anything, yes.
But they,
Assuming that's an effective solution, that's a pretty low expenditure for a town our size, I think, for animal control. And I'm sure there's probably things that we could do that might make it better, but as opposed to having a full-time animal control person or even a part-time animal control person, it's a reasonable budget.
what is in that expense? Is it just like to
That-
keep them at the,
The animal office.
oh, if they, whenever you pick them up, you take them to the animal hospital?
It's a per day rate while the dog is there, right?
Then does that not go back to the person who owns the dog?
Yeah,
That's
so,
easy.
yeah, if they pick it up, they have to come down to the station, pay their daily storage fee, and their dog pickup fee. Means that comes back to the city, and then we pay on that line item to the animals.
When an animal is not clean, they keep it for a certain number of days, maybe you can explain kind of the process, 7 days, and then what happens.
The most they can charge for is seven days, I believe. And then it goes to, if the Humane Society wants it, wants it. So. If it's not claimed, if it's claimed, then they come down, we give them a receipt, they take it out their dog.
Often does it happen where they don't have room? Taken in,
Depending on if they have, depends on how busy they are. We've had times where we've had to go to Dogwood, because they've had embargo out here.
dogwood is,
In
How
Jasper,
about rural foods,
yeah, behind Hoosier Crest,
animal clinic, good veterinary.
yeah. Or they've been full. Some of those, I can probably 2-3 times a year, I'll have to do that.
does Hungary ever euthanize an animal?
We, the only time that we did was in the situation earlier this year. We usually treat tonight, so.
Very.
But it's only dogs.
Oh,
Cats. You catch cats?
No.
You need to up that budget.
We don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah.
They were to think, plus the Humane Society is, open 24 hours a day. Willing to take them, usually they are so full that they're begging for people to take passes because fosters.
Yeah.
It's just, we had a situation here about a month ago that we took 4 cats from a person that was on probation for animal neglect. They stayed at the street until somebody from within that van put them out. So they were there for like 10 hours.
Remember, we used to have an animal control officer. So,
Or dog.
So just passed away last week.
oh.
Gary Walker.
Oh, yeah.
See that.
We just have no resources around here for cats.
It looks like you guys are waiting to put monster for this show.
Yeah.
That was-
That's what I'm saying, some years it could be up, some years it could be down.
Doesn't mean some.
Wood, it's staying low.
Okay. I know we had issues, I moved here in 1988, we had big issues of. Live spray dogs everywhere, we don't see that.
And we try to, if we catch them, we try to exhaust all that and locating them before we call to have them kicked out. Because we don't wanna be stuck there for 1 hour. If we can walk it home, we'll walk it home. Just so we don't have to tie up so much snow. So. Because it's not just, waiting on somebody to be there to take that. Taking somebody out of the road to give the dog. It could be a chihuahua, it could be a rottweiler, it could be a pit bull, it could be. You're still taking resources out the road. And if it's busy, then we just let them go and take care of the call. So I'm getting picked up priority. No change in postage. No change in travel expense. I think we've got everybody training or all the major trainings. I think we've already taken care of this year. Other than one, and that's done yet. That'd be something.
Yeah. Bring it back.
So from communications, seeing increase of their insurance. Is that vehicle insurance? Or department?
That's just general liability.
Man,
38%. Property insurance is too. Because the values. Problems gone.
yeah,
So, 50% or 53% right now. So. Right in July. Here's the things. I've slowly been trying to correct the HVAC issue that we've been having. I did fix the one this year. It looks like we are gonna have to fix the other one this year as well. We're trying to get to it before the summertime because it's causing all of our duct lines to sweat. And we have panels. Ceiling tiles that we have to remove in order to kind of condition that space. There was some stuff that wasn't done properly from when it was built. And it's not sealed around where it goes from the attic to just above the ceiling grid. So it's causing a lot of issues as far as sweat and then it's turning mold, which we have to get fixed as possible.
So
So
in those, that doctor, so too.
it is, but it's still sweating through. Whenever it was 110 degrees, heat index the other day. We had to open one of the panels and you poke it and you can get on this and I mean, it stopped after a while. It was saturated.
Was it poorly designed as far as was it within specs and dates and nothing?
I don't know. That's needed. I don't know all that info. I just know I'm trying to fix it as it wears it. So this one just did remember it. You know, never say even this. We got the first one fixed, and then it's just moved down the line to the next one.
So what is this addition to fix they're doing?
RG actually did fix the first one. They sealed off where the ductwork comes through the floor joists. So there's no insulation in between. So, I mean, it's 130 degrees upstairs because it's capped and everything else that's ventilated, but just no circulation. But they seal it off and then they rewrap the ductwork to get the mold and stuff.
Gravity is a thermal break, but you also have to stop the air.
So
Stick.
and we have to air condition the space above the ceiling tiles in order to keep it sweating. So we've been putting in. They're more of like a grid versus a tile. It just allows our circulation.
Literally, right?
Yeah, okay, great. That's
yeah, we're trying to equalize the environment on both sides, so there's no radical change for it to cause some kind of moisture.
yeah. As long as the weather stays the way it is right now.
You might problem.
It's fine. We just pray for that. No change on the BAC or on the repair of BAC verifier. That will stay the same until local state decides to change it. Ground maintenance. That's control. Change. Trash removal. change. I don't think this uses any control or anything. View. Change. Other expenses. Change. Education and training, everything will go on. We've got all of our necessary big training for the position changes this year, out of the way. In my. So with the equipment one, I was hoping. To encumber some of the cost for a body worn. For next year. That's another expense I plan on going to look about commission with is the body worn. First year expense. And then encumber what's left of this year's equipment fund to next year to pay for that. Cause it's gonna be over 50,000 per year for 5 years. Still working on that quote.
So the equipment line, that's for the radios and the body worn, next line, and then it's for. cameras. Sorry.
So I'm not sure how that's separated in. Your. Cause online, it's just all one. That works from with that.
It's basically we moved it on here, it's zero.
Oh,
Not
okay.
that, even if the body, equipment body worn cameras, he deleted that whole bug, that whole line item.
And
It
then
looks like they
all
moved
to
it up,
equipment.
looks like we moved it up one notch.
So that's just for the cameras, that's not need for these.
No.
Do all of our officers have those, or you're just phasing this in?
The Bible. All of our vehicles have it, the car cameras, all of our officers have body worn camera.
And this is just replacement, like just rotating replacement.
Yeah, so we signed our 5-year contract. It ends in January. So we would have to sign another 5-year. 5 year this year.
Is this the cost for the equipment? It's just the equipment, and is there a fee too that we pay to, like the service fee or something, or to?
It's all one. I believe that payment comes up. It's right at the beginning, it's towards the beginning of the year. But like this year, we did, this year, the payment that we would have would be on the next 5 years. The current 5-year contract.
Is it customary for departments that have adopted the body worn cameras to have policies of like when you're clocked in, it's on, period, if they're there every time?
We do have policy. The problem that we are running into with the body worn cameras is if they stay on. There's different settings for them, so you have on duty and off duty status. If it's on duty, it's constantly recording in the background because it has a 30-second delay on the audio. So it's constantly recording, but as it overlaps that 30 seconds, it's the previous 30 seconds is gone. So we are getting about 8 hours of report or on duty time with those, so officers would have to charge them during shift. We are experimenting with a new camera that the company has, that are external cameras. So where they come with 2 batteries and they're able to be hot swapped. If one battery is going down, you can pull the battery out while it's recording. You have 3 minutes to get the second battery in, and it'll stay recording the whole time.
So is that part of, we're gonna start getting those, or?
Possibility. They're still in the R&D phase with those. We've reached one of those departments that have 2 actually. We need them looking for feedback. Once we're done with that. To see if they can change and they is that news. But yeah, I mean it's just a cell phone. I'm stuck in the rest. If you record for 4 hours of your shift, that battery burns that battery up. So they have to be recharged.
doing it enough that they can switch them out, so they're switching them out, is that how they're recharging?
No, so
They're recharging them in their car or something?
you
They're
just,
plugged in?
yeah, you just recharge the phone from the vehicle or from the wall charger.
How they're.
Pretty much.
You can take them out of gas. Charge them.
I assume you can buy those packs. I assume you can buy
They did give us external battery packs for them.
Yeah.
However, they're huge.
like those
They're
blocks.
Yeah, just gonna
With
ask
blocks.
you, how much equipment does average police officer put on, what weight?
Probably between 30 and 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're constantly developing, devices. Whether it's external, internal.
But if they take it out to charge it, then it's not recording. I mean, I guess it's still recording in the thing, but
Yeah, but it's same with the external cameras. If it's charging, it can't work.
oh, it can't record the whole time it's charging? Well, then should we have enough so that they can swap them out? Or can they,
So the
Work with
external
that.
will not record if it's charging. The ones that are phone devices, they will record it charging because we do have some external batteries. It's just, they have to be monitored, basically. If you know your battery, or if you know you've been recording for a while throughout your shift, you need to plug the phone and find it. If you're eating lunch or whatever, so.
and then it's not recording?
Correct, yeah.
Well, no, but I mean, it's like, how long does it take to charge then?
Depends on which charger you get. They provide like a kind of a fast charger. With the devices, so they'll charge fairly quickly. But
Like an hour, 2 hour? I mean,
yeah, it takes a little bit. Don't need to
Yeah.
time, depending on
Yeah.
how much you have, but. And it just depends on how much you're recording throughout the shift. If you have a busy shift, a camera could be dead in 6 hours
so like,
because it's recording 1080p.
so it's only recording the voice until, or it's recorded, it just,
Recording video.
but then
and
wouldn't it be
30
recording the whole shift? Or it only records when there's movement?
on the body cam.
I'm confused with this message.
Yeah.
It seems like that it would be like at the off duty, if we had enough of them, that you could have where it's just like zip zip. When yours is dead, you just trade out somebody else's if theirs is charging. Yeah, but I mean, if somebody's not working, then theirs is just on the charger, right?
As it's registered to them on the system.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanna stop by, I can show you.
No, it's any lane of equipment.
Yeah.
Again, it's made to be used a very specific way.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It just seems like unless, I mean, we're in 2025, they would have figured something out to keep it constantly recording, be able to switch it out faster.
one would, you would think that
As long as you have. Wi-Fi.
camera technology
It'll-
would get cheaper, but it's not.
I'm actually working on a way with T-Mobile to get, free SIM cards. Those devices would have data at all times regardless where they're at, even if they're not connected to their car. So as it's being recorded, it can be offloaded. So we're supposed to be getting a SIM card from T-Mobile to test that system out. So, that way, if you do have a rocket that comes down, we're still able to record and upload at all times. Sorry.
Do most officers like a camera idea?
It is saved us. It is disputed complaints. It's also, taught people they shouldn't be doing, what they should not be doing. As long as you are honest and as long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, everybody's okay about it. Yeah. So it has helped dispute more complaints than you could ever imagine. So,
Just the two of us.
yeah.
Well, three. Wasn't anything, it was, the officer was exactly 100% correct. They said, or based on the cameras.
The camera living lines and. It's usually-
So is there somebody that like monitors this as it's coming in? No, I don't know, just like, anything?
That's my session.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll go back and we'll watch. Certain, certain ones, depending on what the question is, or, you know, if it's a complaint, we can go back and watch.
I guess my question is like when it goes from just recording audio to 1080. What happened, like how does that switch? It just keeps,
No, so it will constantly record the video,
yeah,
but whenever you activate it, it will go into a 30-second delay on. So the first 30 seconds. So once you hit your button.
so the officer has to physically. activate.
Well, there's different triggers,
Okay,
that will activate them. But once you start the recording, it will go back 30 seconds. Prior to
Right,
you activating
okay.
the recording, yeah, and
Okay.
that 30 seconds will not have audio.
okay,
That is customary in most. All
Yeah.
departments.
that makes more sense. I was just kind of confused as to why sometimes it would be less battery life or whatever, but it's like, it's something that they,
How busy they are.
if they're just sitting in their car doing radar.
Yeah.
And- Or is that recorded too? To make sure the radar's right?
No,
Oh,
so it's.
you're really deep.
So what line item are you, what line item are you questioning?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
Okay, then.
was that the proper response? Brad, can you give her, can you give her a turn?
Maybe I just need to
Yeah.
come down and, yeah, check it out.
Yes, you have to have your body armor on and your camera. Sign your disclaimer.
The vehicles. So the kind of temporary quotes that I received were about 45,000. For the new vehicles going into 2026. If we trade in two vehicles, I firmly believe that we could get at least 9,000.
Wow, each, you're asking for a lot.
That'd be nice. Yeah. You know,
That seems, well, that's reality, let's say that's in. That does seem reality. We have to cover continuing education.
Yeah, rather than just continuing education, because there has been, I think, just $50,000. To have 8,000. There's.
We,
Go.
is that a green line?
You are, yes.
We're gaining some ground there.
Yeah.
The line item on that.
Been here. I thought I had.
Off night.
Is that the same continuing ed from the like $4? There's
There's a few things that they.
We discussed this.
What is the destination?
Pass them down.
Is that the next one they follow here?
You're on the wrong line.
Each of us should have.
Oh, then, okay, I am. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, some of these just don't make sense here, so. Yeah, okay, 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 okay. I figured it out.
What is 4,200 now?
Thank you.
Alright, Ronnie says hi.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Ronnie says hi.
Oh. Not you all officially have to do here, but we'll pause right now, budget hearing, we're gonna move into the bid openings for filter, water treatment plant filter cell number 5. And cell rehabilitation, the committee consists of myself, Tom Dipple and Jerry Austin. With committee, we have a representative here from Commonwealth Insurance, Commonwealth Engineering, thank you. I had insurance on my mind, that's our big budget increase this year. That's kind of scary, but so Tom will open these and, okay.
Yeah, here's the first one is Keeper Brothers Construction.
Just I want to read them. We want to read them. What, just real quick, we have three different numbers that would be read. We have a total base bid, which is for the project itself. We have two different alternate bids. The alternate bids can be an add or deduct. Alternate number one is using a different coating on the tanks using epoxy instead of polyurea. And alternate number two is an add or deduct if we replace the media troughs instead of trying to reuse them. So those would be the three numbers that we read off. A big number is going to be the base bid and a plus or minus for alternate one and alternate two.
Okay, so this would be the face bid here.
Yeah, and there'll be a sheet. And we'll go ahead and read the numbers off. Obviously, we got some stuff over here, so we'll check that after. During the week. Right.
So we get a S number.
Dates and so.
Okay, I'll just find it. This. Thanks. And
No, two alternates, we can get these in right there, yes.
okay, so the base bid for Keepers is $752,578.22. 72 cents. $752,578.72. The alternate deduct is $24,341. The alternate add $87,916.40.
So alternate number one was a deduct and alternate number two was an add.
All right, I'll pay. Graves Construction. Base bid $929,292. $929,292. Alternate add. Alternate one, $74,747.
The deduct.
No. $74,747. The second alternate, $101,010. $101,010.
I thought you said the first one was a deduct.
They can be, it
Oh, okay,
can be whatever they want to make it.
okay.
It's just from Biederman.
Who is this?
Base bid $935,100. $935,100. Alternate one, an ad of $163,500. $163,500. Second alternate, $75,400. $75,400. So
All the
all the
bids
bids
submitted.
and that'll be taken under advisement. We'll have a recommendation.
Yeah, we'll take these back, this afternoon and try to get bid tabs together, and then, tonight or the next council meeting would, report back to the council and, ask for your consideration on
We've established a timeline for notice of war.
it. The bids are held for 90 days, so you do have a 90-day period there. In general, we've talked about, getting things worked out this fall and then, moved into the winter with, construction taking place. And like to be done by no later than like March or early April next year. So,
Yeah, my plan is to see you guys back. Sorry to keep it moving for our timeline, so we don't get another high demand periods for the water treatment next year. It's the
Yeah.
timeline.
Yeah, their demand is lower than when.
Right, yep.
Well, thank you to everyone that bid, thank you for being here again. Hopefully we'll be able to, get everything back to common about today. The plan is to present to council this evening, vote, and, go from there.
thank you for that.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We really appreciate, you've been on our jobs.
On right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
I'll see if I can get the rest of
Thank
the
you.
break or any kind of break before we come back in. That's it.
Yeah, who's up next? You?
Actually, part of that.
Actual is so far.
Oh, you just wanna make a copy of that? Stick it on the copy machine, make a copy real quick.
Well, just kind of, because I think it's helpful to see where we are, where the departments are on their actuals.
It is. Generally, the superintendents have that already in their, they know that, they're looking at it every month.
For us to say,
Yeah.
just or to see
Well,
what, even where we were last year at the
Want
end.
you just want to copy that?
Yeah, let me.
Where you at? Which year do you want? I think you got everything.
Well, I kind of think it would be nice to have last year's actuals to compare it to this year's, you know what I mean, because we're.
Oh, we don't have that.
There's 2024.
Or do we have this electronically somewhere? I
It's on board thing.
had looked on board, but maybe I'm not.
Yeah,
We sent it this
I
morning.
think it's, well, it's been on there for quite a while.
Maybe it's, I need to look further back.
Well, yeah, so need something else to be updated.
That's okay, if it's on, I'll just keep looking on here, because.
Go to this bar right here. Bar, 3 bars on the top left hand side.
Yeah.
And we'll go to, document library. And internal. Work page for, what,
14?
Right.
Document library, you said,
Yeah.
or I need to go to community
And
first.
then, yeah, you're in community, you're gonna go, like that, we got a nice solid little library or something, 3 bars at the top.
I did that.
And then you go to
Oh, document.
library. Then you go.
He's leaving it there.
up to the internal.
Okay,
You can see the 2027 preparation sheets.
Thank you. Thanks.
Then we go to preparation sheet, so it'll show you 2024 numbers, it'll show you. The appendix five. The prior year.
Oh,
Well,
okay. It's there. On here.
yeah, as long as it's on here, we're not good.
You want to find it on?
got behind.
Probably not,
And this is the one that we need to look at is probably 630-25 revenue and expense, because that's apples to apples.
yeah, I
Right.
look
Yeah,
all the way to the right, and it'll show you the, what percentage is spent mid-year.
okay.
A little misleading with the parks department, so.
Well, but so I think though, if we do the one that is the 630,
There you go.
and go down to the middle.
Three ones. This is the one from last, the one they're working off of.
Because we want to do the period ending 630-25.
Relevant, the other one is.
Okay.
And then John. Find out.
Maybe we'll bump that.
All right.
Get your eye appointment.
Resume the eating, right down,
What piece of?
14, page 14. Yeah, every department, except for the police, we put in a 4% salary increase for the keep even with what's happening, with other police departments in the area. You'll see 3% as a common increase in one of the other departments. It was just % difference with that, so. What we have here, department head salary at 3%, you know, we have a new department head this year. Just started, doing a great job, but, he essentially came over flat from another department, so his salary was fixed there. The 3% increase is gonna be a little less probably than what we see here, but, anyway, that's just taking an increase of what we spent this past year. On the salary end right now, I could go line by line, but I think there's some big differences you'll see. We just moved I think that laborers, combined them all together. So overall, it's an increase of $7,000, to be a little over 3% there. In June, this year, our salaries that right now we are accounted for, we're at 42.98% halfway through the year on salaries. Realize that, we say it's a little misleading because some of the summer wages, are heavy in June and July. But the people that work the, swimming pool and the parks programs and everything else. So it's gonna be up a little bit over that. In July, we're gonna spend a larger percentage, that's not here. We're really basically the bottom line is we're on track. Like we see, with the pool manager, pool managers, lifeguards, summer program, we've been way underspending there. And if you look at, our June expenses, they're all around 25-26% of our annual. July is going to be another 25 or 6. We're probably going to spend about 53% this year on summer program and what is budgeted. So that's why you see the reduction there. We're also looking at some improvements in the way that we staff that. Maybe bringing in different types of supervisors to run the program. That could be a lifeguard and a supervisor both. If you pay more, get a little higher quality, maybe more mature person in there to go to run the program down. But we still should have plenty of money in there for. Did increase a little bit with the part-time labor. Some of that is small expenses. Go through senior citizens director. Wages of park foreman, everything was pretty much at 3%. Senior citizen director, a little bit over that, and really it's because I think we're going to be overspent a little bit on that this year. Try to. So we were at 62.4% in June of this year. spent, we're actually gonna be over budget in 2025 with senior citizens director. Salary budgeted for that. That's why you see a 6%, 6.5% increase versus 3% that everybody is to account for that, so we can get closer to even next year. We look at the summer parks, recreation, pool expenses this year as a group. If you got that, we're at 32.9%. So we can take a little bit of there, and that was the thoughts. If we have that money to put elsewhere, we're not sure where we're gonna be at in income yet. Tom can attest to that. We had, if you know, we had taken $164,000 off of our budget a year ago. I was originally treated because of our income projections being off that much. And so we got reports back to the here. I don't remember the big area that hit to be talking.
No, it was, there were the park in the general fund.
The whole income line just dropped drastically. You get it basically us. We still try to keep it flat this year, living like incomes. At least stay the same this year compared to last year. For health insurance. Again, that's in life and disability, that's based on those that are presently on those plans. So those are real numbers that are generated through HR to put on there. None of these numbers are calculated by the superintendents. Get office supplies. Pretty much the same. Didn't know I was gonna have to do this and go back through. Looking at where we're at this year. Office supplies. Right now, that's pretty nominal amount. We're at about, we're gonna spend probably 40, we're gonna probably hit about $400 this year. In office supplies, other operating expenses there, we're gonna be at about 35,000. So. Vehicle expenses, pretty much the same. Track to spend most of that. Pool supplies are on track to spend pretty much what we had budgeted here.
Vehicle supplies, oh. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Vehicle expenses year to date, we've spent through June 30, 20. We have had some. We do project some repairs and some equipment's coming in.
Oh, yeah.
About that, so we got some old trucks. They have a truck, one hydraulic hose, and one hydraulic pump is about $8,000. So, it could drop that very quickly. Gasoline right now, year to date, we're going to hit about $11,000 to $12,000 in gasoline. We have 14,000 in there budgeted. Safety expenses, 2,000. We're on track right now. We'll spend about 1,400 to 1,500 right now. We spent this year. That is all that we had budgeted. We've completely spent that account down. So we've added back in $2,000 here. I think we're only at $75.
That line item's already hit the category. So we separated it out.
Pool supplies, we're on track to spend about 36,000 this year, and that's really what we have budgeted for next year. And we are looking at ways to get that down. Be bidding out some of those supplies that we have bid in the past. That includes fertilizer and parks department. Stadium supplies, really a lot of those expenses come at the end of the year. So we've only spent 3,000 so far this year, but it'll be all 10,000. I can tell you that stadium's getting older. Replace a lot of boards, a lot of paint.
Air conditioning or refrigeration units?
Yeah, we had a $10,000, yeah. I mean, so we did have quite a bit there. We do know that the school and the Bombers they have done some painting and some board replacements and some of those things to help us out. Over and above what they're contractually obligated to do, so we're good there. Senior citizen supplies. We are well below right now. I mean, we had this year $15,000 budgeted there, dropped it to 10. We're not gonna spend nearly 10 this year, however, with the new senior citizen center moving in, I don't know what we're gonna need to get donations of furniture and other things. But when you have something new, we talked about doing audio visual equipment to do trainings for seniors and things. So there could be some money that comes in there. I don't foresee spending that, just so you know, if there's a cut, that may be an area we could cut. Right now, there are donations of $15,000 received to the senior center for supplies. We could probably over that a little bit, but
Last year, the actual was 11,000.
Yeah.
Already.
yeah, we had some changes, stuff about last year. I think 10,000 is safe. Obviously, the goal is not to spend everything in that area, but the fact that Rita was so good at getting donations, there's equipment and items for there. Plus, we were able to get several $1,000s worth of furniture donated through OFS this year. Don't know the whole value of that, but it's in the tens of thousands. Removal. Rock, sand, and concrete.
Where does tree removal go? They're outside? I mean, can outside contractors remove trees?
Some of them we do ourselves.
That's what I'm
Since
saying.
it's the larger ones.
$5 grand will take
You ever
one tree
take
down.
one?
That's one tree.
Yeah,
I just
it
paid
is.
for
And we're lucky that we're able to utilize the bucket trucks from the street department, that they can take a pretty good sized street. But there's a point where it becomes too dangerous for us to do. We don't have the equipment to be able to put it.
I would
I
agree.
think that's just probably a safety net. Last year, the actual was safety.
Yeah, we know that we have about 3 trees we're gonna have to take down this year. Fall,
You can-
fall. Yeah.
If you can get somebody like Tree Pros or one of the other contractors to come in and get it down to a reasonable height, at that point, electric boys can generally handle it. It's something, we only go to 65 feet on a
And-
bucket
But I'll
truck.
tell you, when we get into this, when we do it ourselves, and we're gonna have a little bit of an expense yet this year, because even when we take down the trees, we have stump removal.
Yes.
Expenses up to another,
Mhm.
and we're gonna spend all this 5,000 this year on stump removal.
I bet you do.
So that's a couple stumps, really.
Yeah, there's $500, $600, $700 per stump.
So,
We can't rent a stump grinder? No.
And
You
Not
can, but
very efficiently.
it's for a tree
No.
about the size of your computer. Right.
Right.
You got one as big as this table.
you need a big.
yeah, we have one that's across as long as the table.
Yeah, the one in my front yard was
Yeah, one
5.5 feet across with the tape measure, and that was $600. The one to take that stump out. Yeah. The one I just took down in front of my house, was almost $2,200. And I got the electric department to help. You know, and they didn't have to haul everything off. It's very expensive nowadays, and the insurance is crazy. So you guys get it in the room,
Yeah, a lot of that,
it's liability.
really, most of the money we spend for removals comes down to stumps.
Yes,
So most of the time we can get the street department too, but we like to have, obviously, a bad tree is a danger, you know, it can cause death, and it has before, so we're very cognizant.
Yep.
I had, treatment, travel expenses. Yeah. computer expenses, that's an increase of 2,000. We are gonna have to upgrade some computers. That they haven't replaced. This year, that I have to do next year. I think we can. With tariff increases, we don't know, it's probably gonna go up to 25-30%. We've seen that. I don't think those numbers are real. But I think it's an excuse to raise prices and personally.
Yep.
And I'll leave it at that.
Town hall expenses, it looks like those went. The budget went down, but last year's actual.
Yeah. No, at all.
Oh, but
Which
which
one is
changes?
that?
Town
Town hall
hall,
expense,
town hall expenses at the bottom of the page, 28,000.
but then the budget is 10,000.
Well, well, we get an endowment, we have an endowment.
That takes care of a lot of that.
Yeah. I think about 20,000.
Okay,
So
so
that it's average on the interest rates, either 20 to 24,000 we get that comes out separately down, but that's one reason I said go ahead, lower that number really, we need to be charging to the down for some of those things versus. In our regular budget, and what the costs are, we still have utilities, stuff that fall in there, but a lot of repair work needs to come out of them. So. It's a matter. The coding invoice is a little differently, that would bring that down. Won't bring the expenses. Good catch up.
We've been fortunate in some donations and stuff in recent years to getting that up to snuff.
And likewise, our endowment for Market Street Park is about the same. It's not going to. So that's an income you haven't seen. Really everything after did up repairs and maintenance buildings. We have some wood and stuff we do need to replace, gutters, that type of thing to quite a bit of work for what we're trying to do this winter work right now. Try to catch those back up. A lot of that is shelter houses. That need a lot of work and upgrading. We plan on really. We've got a plan for all 23 that everything else, put it to get it flat. Really think that. Yes, Brooks. I think that. Yeah, we still have that. That's an encumbered amount, that 19,000. I think Tom can explain that for us, but
Well, which one's that?
the 19,000. That's.
Oh, yeah, that's it was through the Indiana Bond Bank, new Crossroads. I think 2028, I think is. When we'll be done with that. Two trucks, 2 4-wheel drive.
Funds adequate to complete the pickleball.
Yes,
Park down there.
and actually, I think we're gonna have more than enough. Looks like this, we're gonna switch that to concrete ourselves versus original quote. An outside source for asphalt, so that allows us to be able to do that about 6 months faster. Was our contractor on the asphalt was until next spring.
Wow.
So we can go ahead and start that project, get it done, and awesome. Do it in concrete. We'll have to do, there's a couple extra steps we have to take in order to get paper barriers down. Have to check our drainage and stuff. This concrete will sweat. So don't do it properly, and you don't want sweating. That's sealed, so sort of getting a little rough. Asphalt is, yeah, it's about twice the cost. Half the cost of that is labor. Collective charges get here. If you're $10,000 to $12,000 charges, get paper out. Saying that. You know, we're also consulting with somebody that installs pickleball courts, so make sure we do everything correctly and make it down here. Hopefully keep it. Know somebody that does that.
So the goal to have that finished just by the end of the year.
Yes, and a lot of that is being paid for with lift money.
It's not coming out this month out here. See it here. So some of it is covered for the year and some for this year. We did take it from 2 courts to 3. And I think it's still gonna be making some changes in fencing and other things, but bringing it against the 2s before we're not having to provide fence behind and some other things to get the costs down, so hopefully. We will easily be under what budget cover now. Side of the budget.
Heard a rumor we're gonna do something out of Knee House Park yet, they had something at Knee House.
That would be a, yeah, it was fitness court, the park board approved that. Kind of been presenting to them over the next month, but it's that through the National Fitness Council, we received a grant, seed money, to start the process, $30,000. Where's the fitness store is gonna be about 4 or 5 times that now. We are working with IACDA and Patronicity on doing a national program where people can donate towards that program and their sponsorships. That's going to be actually a mayor's youth council project on fundraising, marketing, everything. It's going to have marketing help. Authority, Patronicity, their partners, the 3 partners in there. To raise those funds over the next year. But then it is a fitness ad that for all abilities, all ages. We did a heat map of the city where people go to walk and exercise. That was huge. The number of people that go down there. They glow red and on the heat map. That heat map is generated through cell phones, fitness trackers. Anything, anybody has types of, you got a watch with a fitness tracker on it. It tracks those. There was an area at Main Park that was pretty close to it. But trying to find one area, and I think also.
I think the draw there is because it's shaded in the summertime months, but that it's amazing how much cooler it is inside on that path.
It's kind of misleading too, a little bit at the main park, because people come down here to watch ball games and they come down here to picnic and other things. Sometimes those things are generated. One reason we looked at the house is because everybody that goes there is there for physical activity. So we knew that those were ready to play disc golf, they're swinging a golf glove, they're walking, they're doing something that's. This meets kind of one of the requirements of the that we had listed in our comprehensive plan 4 years ago. Is trying to find areas where people with all abilities can exercise, do that, whether they're seniors, whether they're young people. They put these in right now recently in Marion, Mishawaka. I visited the Mishawaka, then by the Marion. Logansport recently put one in, and I can't think of the other one. It's where Lake Shaver, Monticello, just open first. But they getting a lot of use among people there. I went to the one in Monticello, excuse me, Mishawaka was the first one. So it's about 8 or 9 years old. And it was getting a little wear, but it's been approved since I've been put in the construction. And I think that they've been 15%. If you get out.
And it's just like different workout stations?
Yeah, different workout stations.
Sort of like what they have at Parklands.
Similar, yeah. And so you've got, I'll send you all the video. I know we did the video. We also sent the pictures and the video and stuff. People was County Food President or
Will there be a need for additional parking? you think will be a substantial enough?
Let's see about that. There's always the parking. No matter what we do, we got parking issues. One thing that we did find interesting and actually troublesome, in my opinion, the number of people that cross Highway 64 to go either at Chestnut or at Style Drive.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people come that way. Walk, so that's something we're trying to address right now, and as well as safe streets for all.
I think it's a lot of
Plan
kids
to do
too.
it.
Talk about this thing.
We don't have a crosswalk, but people are making it a crosswalk thing, so. That'll probably be 4-year federal grant in the end, so we'll apply for. But also working within putting traffic calming devices there over the speed limit. 45 goes from 40 to 45 in that area, and frankly, people drive probably over 45.
Yeah.
So we got to avoid it. Calming noise, calming drive. Hopefully that'll happen next year within speed.
Here's one thing, Chase watches this. We were at Northside Park this weekend and it's like, it's such a nice park, but it's such a shame how much vandalism's already occurred in such a small amount of time. All of the restrooms, the things have been peeled off to go for public restrooms and
Yeah.
like they, you know, and also the kids wanted to play cornhole and all the bags were on. They've all been thrown on. So it's like, I encourage parents in that area, I don't know if any of them will be watching this, but it's like, oh, hey, kind of keep an eye on your kids, because it's a shame that we have something really nice that we can't use. That's first couple.
We did crack some of that back to a certain family that was persons for that, that's police got involved. Yeah, it's a shame.
You can't do something wrong.
I hate to say it, June 1st rolls around and then Blizzard goes up here.
Well, it's like, I was trying to think of a solution as to how to, you know. Get a
Most
lock
of
box
that
back
happens
or get something, but it's like, there's nothing.
Camera,
we can
camera,
do.
all you can do.
Apparently, it's about all you.
And you can't put cameras in restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Stuff you can get them outside.
Something coming and going.
See who's coming and going, right?
That's
Use them every day.
stiff.
So that's something that is a parks for. If I'll never do this one back. So I appreciate it.
So noted. We do have,
I guess the street department probably has one too, if they could just keep an eye on it to have on it there.
we do have,
Yeah.
we are working directly with the schools, with farmers, other people that utilize League Stadium in the park on things that we can ask them for commitment of donation and expenses. So we're working heavily with that right now. Jason's very involved with that, some meetings already with the school itself, and we'll continue to do so. Jason's got a good working relationship, obviously, with baseball team, the coaches too. But, we have some verbal commitments to try to work to make major improvements down there. Right now, this year, we are residing what's the tomorrow. Yeah, it's a bad year for grass, getting it sod until about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Sod farms were dead. That's the reason we played soccer there last night, because the soccer teams have the same problem with their drain coming in. It was not a good year.
So the soccer team gonna use the stadium all.
They're gonna have at least 4 home matches there. Last night was the first one. They do a little rolling.
I was gonna say, that probably some damage.
How was the damage?
It was more than last year, but not horrific, you know, it's just like we're tracking expenses of what are done there. We brought a roller out and they are responsible. Think that we had to purchase them. I don't see us purchasing anything for the outfield, the infield. We are going to plan place in the south. We just waited till after that event to get it out there. 10-foot line sod, so it doesn't get all the seams. We'll do that. Grass never being sure.
is I know you cut the stadium supply by 10,000, but it would be wise to go ahead and keep it at 20, so continue to maintain that stadium. Don't use for another category.
Neil also has. League stadium improvements.
Oh,
Yeah, I had budgeted in lit, I think it's 95,000. It's right around it.
And last year the actual was 600.
So, yeah, we did, we're gonna. The lit is at about 95 for that.
okay. That's what
It says parks and stadium improvements.
that. Got a diamond there, we want to keep it shining.
Yeah. It's, I call it our herd of horses sometimes. Because they're real pretty to look at, but it's real expensive to feed.
Yeah.
So that's,
Strong.
we have contacted, we've been in contact with several local people, institutions and services. Bringing in the need level outfield with getting the excavation work for free and stuff things. So we're working on those right now. And I think you guys should be relationships for the future. It's gonna be a private private public partnership, I think. Wish Chase was here, but you get more enthusiasm from him than you did me, so he's a good man.
Okay, what about, in capital outlay, the ground equipment? We have a,
Very last one.
is that the, like, ground equipment plus the pickleball, and then is that,
Yeah.
that's moved, or like we don't have anything for new playground equipment? Cause last year it looks
We
like,
have a little set aside right now. We have about $48,000 left in it. For this year to go towards playground equipment. We're looking for more donations for that. I mean, right now, it's about 35 to 40 for a piece of playground equipment. It's about the same amount to install them. To get the pads and make it in there, so you're looking at 80,000, 90,000. In the end, for playground equipment. We're gonna have to get aggressive with that. We do know that there's some that right now nobody uses, we need to take out and consolidate some. So we'll have a long-term plan for that. We could put in the 60,000. The problem is we can't increase the. That's, I mean, last year we budgeted $1,283,000 and we thought we were gonna be able to do that. Well, if we had to cut, our income went down $160,000.
right, but I do think that's something that everybody needs to be benefit, I mean, like the playground equipment is something. It's like, well, it's value.
Our playground equipment is our new placement to. Got one set we're now placing, we have a month that, but. Setting at 28, but, some of it will use from the labor. They will live there to be installed. But we have to, we need to look at a long-term grant process to make that. We could easily, just say, if you gave me $3 million today, spend it. In one sum at the daily. Drainage, clay tiles underneath there that collapse into the areas, playgrounds and place. We could spend $3 million if there's. If you want to increase that line, the playground equipment by 61,000, we'll see now if we have the income to get there. I don't have an issue with that. It's just not. Here's a good company. It's got the same streets. Like down that. So $2,000 for streets,
I just don't want it to be at zero, that it gets eventually knocked off. You know, I would like to keep at least
Well-
something in there towards, even if we're building up a fund.
Yeah, I think, we've done some new parks over the past few years. My thing is, let's take care of what we have before we do any new. I'm not in a big hurry to do anything in our street.
Well, that's-
park
I-
anyway.
I think
Rather
just
put it in
replacing
any park.
broken stuff, or like the mulch, it seems like the playgrounds that we do have are in dire need of. Weeding and mulching, and maybe it's something that it's a drainage issue where mulch is getting washed out, but I think that we could. And maybe that's a winter project that Chase is working on, but it's like, just a couple of tips, because I do have kids that age that are, we're utilizing those, and sometimes it's like.
I think the requirements change and they hold the standards so high, so it makes the expense so. Prolific just for one little area of the park, spend $100,000 and size of this table. If you're not careful, because there's so many requirements, so many.
If you did a poured rubber surfaces.
Yeah.
The normal area is about 40 to 45,000. That's just.
I know, it's.
We're looking at other alternatives. One of those is a rubber, rich rubber that we place underneath there and actually put carpet. As you would go on football field, baseball field, utilize that carpet that lasts a lot longer. Carpet's per square foot is less than half of what surfaces. And you can put rubber in that even if you put surface, you're like concrete. So, do have additional costs in that rubber here, but it's right on. So really, you at the price. So we actually price that in. Do have to put a concrete curb around. It is if it has some kind of curb to.
Yep.
How much it costs them for.
So it's too bad we don't have any astroturf.
Yeah, yeah, it's about 18 to 22 bucks. That's the turkeys. Yeah, really turf.
Football.
Yeah.
You get a vacuum.
Yeah, vacuum it. Well, the positive thing is if you do get a hole in there, you do get something you can.
Repair.
You can put something there. If you do it, if you look at our rubber surface, we have now, they're all done. Placement. The rubber mats were not put down, concrete, just laid down.
So for the parks that are just mulched, do they use like the tree limbs whenever they do all that, or do they do a different mulch?
You have to do playground.
Can't do it anymore. Requirements have changed.
I'm just curious, I mean, it seems like that's something that is, would not, because the playground that I'm thinking of specifically is the one by the softball fields. That was heavily used this summer by all the kids that whose siblings were, like playing softball.
That's the one.
And it
That's
was,
the one.
I mean, there's huge patches of that.
That's the one. Place. Actually, just putting it somewhere else. Nearer to the field, between the field, there's two sets.
Is there ever a time that we would consider doing a study of what park areas, like what'd you call that study where it showed the activity?
It's kind of like a heat map.
Yeah, where you could see what parts of the park are being used and just abandon an area. Instead of trying to replace it, it's not being used much, and do something in a different location, or even going so far as to looking at property that the city owns that we're just mowing, that we could sell and reduce the maintenance costs and take the money that we make from selling it and putting it into some other resource.
Tax dollars. Yeah, and it's funny because at the main part, the heat maps on activity is going to show walking path to the south side. Where we know people go to all games, picnics, everything else for the other. So sometimes those heat maps can be saving.
Sort of, but we can see where the people are. I mean, if they're at the ball field, that's something, or if they're at a picnic, most people don't just picnic in the
Yeah.
park.
Oh,
Like,
Kids that are at ball games and plays and ball fields, so
Yeah.
some of them big enough. It's gonna show the place there.
Mhm.
My show parent is watching, the show game too. For say. And we brought some of that up before, like to see where people come from, when they go to the stadium, they come to the Bombers game, they come from. It's a lot of people on throw them to, we get a lot of people from the Legion area now. We don't have the ability to look that up, I have to find space that the program ask them for it. Usually call one of these companies that sell that software, use them to give you an example. Can you show me? Do this, and that way we get it free, so we've done that, a couple times now. And looked at that information, but we didn't want to spend $20,000 on software to do that. It gave us a pretty good idea. There are some things you have to look at. I mean, there were 10 people at a Bombers game. I assume those were people, retired people that were on for the summer. You know, could have been you, Jeff, I don't know. So a real lot of times it's where the bill is going, so. Oh, see. So you're being tracked all the time.
I saw a really cool illustration of during COVID, how people went to spring break at a certain place in Florida and where they left and went back to, and how it kind of implying that the virus is being spread that way. And but that was the time that I first realized that that technology was there. But never really thought about it being used on a more localized basis on what facilities are being utilized and where people are coming from.
We do know that they either will go for a German restaurant or an ice cream place before or after games. Those are the two most common things that people do. Go to a German restaurant in Jasper, or go to a little ice cream place. And those are like the number of places you see restaurants they go to. I don't think that we have a big use for that data. I think that's probably something tourism should be. As a group. Hey. Playgrounds and playing fields. We are putting together to make. Master plan for all fields, so. And then the rest of it donating over the next 5 years. But to do that, we need a master plan. Part of that is making sure that the kids are there playing in the ball field. The brothers, sisters have a decent playing. And while they're there, they go to the other side of the park to find one. So the security standpoint, but also convenience standpoint. So hopefully here, by next summer, we'll have all that put together. Just not trying to find somebody to pay for the study. Jason's working on that. He's got, he does that. So it's gonna cost him $25,000 for the study. But nobody's gonna donate money without it. They told Franklin, you don't have it. You don't have that study. But we have some couple of big donors. That's not very field. Perfectly open to you at $60,000 later. Look at it. So we have students.
It doesn't have to be 60 necessarily, or just like something that we can. You know what I mean? Like just. Even if we would do 20 to keep something, keep it as a line item.
Be done the off the block gravel. It's like they're probably using time. But use down. Right down the road.
Yeah, we spent that this week already. Saying. But in the concrete, we'll spend something. We'll spend that concrete. Yeah, this year we'll spend that. Putting concrete around the Johnson concrete around the playground areas, get rid of that wood, but also that keeps that stuff washing and contains it. So we are going to do some curbing this year.
There's some issues.
Yeah, it's easier to mow around too.
I know in the main park, there's some issues with the asphalt. That actually kind of right in front of League Stadium, down, you continue through down towards the League Field. Yeah, there, and a few years ago, maybe last year, we talked about in developing a master plan for replacing that asphalt over a period of years so that we could budget for that in the budget.
That's one that's gonna have to be dug up, be done. I believe the estimate we had is about 350,000. I don't know where to get 350,000. Because a lot of that is, right now, that is set up so that water, the asphalt's there to allow that water. It should never happen. That really needs to be dug up. The water needs to come to the pipes underneath those things. What's right now underneath of it, Jason, we will work on some of it, but some of those are clay tiles up the other end. We get sinkholes. I don't know if you look at the patches right next to the ticket booth, there's a sinkhole that developed overnight last year. We have to repair and raise grades. Parking lot down there on the small parking lot that's to the north side. It floats around right down. That has to be built to back up. Plus, a lot of that is water level is low there. We'll dig a hole there and come out of it. That's what we run into. We need the real beginning of this needs to be, and this part of the plan is getting cleaned up. How are we gonna handle that drainage? Drainage is a big.
Drainage infrastructure in that park is huge. It's
We could pay that.
predates any, we could predates everything. So
We could pay that every year and it's will be the same.
it would just no, it's not solid underneath.
Jason will come out, patch it. We'll do what we can, but it's major. Vacation. 100-year-old park, I guess it is. It was piecemeal. And the drains we had on some cloggings. Next step is right now, to get a little bit into the, get past, be far into the, camera, be out camera, all the drains and work through the wastewater department. Their cameras to detect where the leaks are. Get plastic in. It's probably gonna be cheaper just to run new pipe and just man it's there. But it's, if we do that, eventually you're gonna have to sink over. Because when that breaks, it's such dirt. Yeah, I think it was clay. But I don't know who ever came up with the clay tile. It's about half the town.
Yes, they have
Okay, here's the best.
older than that.
And plenty did.
Yeah.
We're all, I remember visiting construction sites as a kid, 60s, 70s, but so it's
Before we go any further, I want to ask about the tree removal program. You got $5,000 budget for that? No, I know we should talk about 3 trees come down.
what we do those to the. What you spend,
Yeah.
basically get what's.
Right, so the question I got, like, I mean, you could buy a stump grant for a Kindle for $2,000. We don't have them from the city or that beneficiary to get one. Because if we got 3 trees now to grind. You could almost buy a stump under that had attached to a tractor or to a skid loader.
We can look into that.
Every. So that's what I was asking.
We've got the equipment to run it. We're gonna attach it to, I don't see why that would.
For all the departments we use.
You're at your $3,000. Very good.
Even still, I mean, look at like the rate, I mean, the water treatment, plant, it's like they're spending on trees, and so what is the electricity, like. The electric and all the departments got together, and you had a $20,000 one we paid off in a year.
Play nice together.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it needs to be, it needs that. It needs to have its own power unit on it. Anything that you're going to attach to something is not gonna have the port. Unless you got one attaches to it.
You can follow tree pro.
Excavators, yeah. Big one, you need a big.
I'll tell you, I've seen people try to utilize those, that go to Bobcats and this type of things. It's not a big job.
It's not safe.
No, But then they race you around. Actually, safety is an issue. You're very dangerous. I think if I was gonna purchase something that had $20,000 person, probably wouldn't be that. I think things that saves money wouldn't be field levels and maintain what we have. We do know that we've got a couple more years in our colder probably. That the front time mower that we use for wood field. That gives about $60,000. So. Okay, it's probably 2 years away. Great. Very important. You can only sharpen those blades so many times. Your rubber blades. Can we take 2 minutes and then 2 minutes? Take a restroom or. Right?
I think we did 5. Right?
People always turns into 5, that's why I say 2.
Okay.
Take that and we'll come back with the street department. I do have some changes on that. And could say we have some changes on that. It's originally for him.
Okay.
That starts out.
Chairs.
Oh,
I was gonna say, there usually was, but.
They took it down when we had the bid open.
Oh, yeah, it's all right, right.
The hot seat is right. Got Mike turned your way. Oh, boy.
No, it did run.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I saw a note here in a few minutes. I don't want no pallet spinners, those fat wrappers at all. No, they're no good. We got. Then we get like 6 of them from Cap. We didn't use any of them. Yeah, I'm not interested in all. Yeah. Yeah, I'm out of the office today, but I did see that come through.
Yes.
Kind of time. We don't,
What you need, young
we
man?
don't want them. I don't.
Cheap. Oh,
Yeah, they got all the off brands. Yeah, it's like cheap stuff.
Right.
This one said they got 20,000 hours on it, yeah. Oh. Yeah, when I replied to him, I don't know, if it's been there. I don't want to.
I was part of.
We have no use.
We do have down.
None.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
cool.
Yeah.
8,000. People we get a couple of really streets.
Mhm.
Where we get into that. Basic.
That's.
Our ARPA fund and through the foundation. Yeah, thinking about, yeah, I think anyway, the cash balance.
We've been before.
What's that?
We've been before.
Yes.
Just reminding myself,
We're live, we're gonna be.
you see what I'm thinking about, Jeff, about street department.
I was just gonna say that. Benefit to being the only right now, we can't fault there was no line in that stream.
You should really love.
Get in and out in 2 minutes.
happy for you.
Not a budget, no, but Jason D. The house across the street from mine. Kelly and crew came in there about it, about last fall or early this spring. They moved a grade, a storm sewer grade, it's work there. Well, all of that behind the curb, they just come in Brook Road and did everything. That's also like that. No, I don't even know it. Then we come back and tune that up for them a little bit. It's hard enough to get the mowing done over there anyway, but it's seriously sunk by 6 or 8 inches and my wife walked around the block a lot. I need to find myself a tip case. He doesn't have any. When people would take care of themselves. I don't think he wasn't the owner, I think, when you did it. He could go
Next one
back
starts at the bottom.
and clean that back up.
Okay. It's well,
Yeah, on Highland Drive, it's a,
yeah.
I don't know what the name of it is, it's a double wide on Highland Drive.
I don't know exactly.
Yeah, he moved that grade 10 feet one direction, the other, or something to get it in a better spot.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple things going on there.
Yeah, and the gas part was there or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
Let you know, last year on the income. We got our recovery reports. Some areas you see here, the total amount was reduced. If you're on. By about 208,000, so that's what you see. Last year approved budget and cuts in the budget. 208,000 street last year. Lines.
When you say income lines, what's that coming from?
Look at revenues, if you got that revenue sheet, that comes, it's county property tax, permits. Financial institution tax, the motor vehicle highway distribution, which is, comes from gas tax, basically. There's excise tax licenses in there, commercial vehicle excise taxes, which are the wheel taxes that you can see. Rent income, I can't tell you what that is.
Rent income was, the safety department, then an office of the street department. That's going away because they're not doing that anymore. So
And miscellaneous receipts, which are just really.
Good. Okay, we're ready to go. Well.
And if you're looking at the revenue and expenditure report through June, that'd be on page 15. I think you can reference it. What was that? On the income line, it's showing that we had 59% in halfway through the year. Remember that some people pay the property tax for the whole year when they pay it in the spring, so that number.
We're wrong page.
We're on the wrong page.
That should be 12. Street starts with 12.
Yeah, but he's on the
Revenue and expense.
He's on that other
the
form.
last page.
So we're on page 12 of the budget, revenue and expenses, page 15.
Revenue and expenses.
Do we have it?
It's not, revenue and expenses in June.
That would be on their report back.
Yeah, it's not on this paper. It's in on that. Page 15.
Well, this should show which line, so we get the gas taxes.
When they added that about 15 years ago, there was some of it's supposed to go directly to road repair.
County through tax, wheel tax, 75,000.
Supposed to be. Bounce anything.
No. Comes to a little less. You look at the wheel tax of less than 25 a house. 32 houses. In motor vehicle highway distribution. And the excise tax, those are going down a little bit each year. That comes out of stages. New electric vehicle, quite a few substations. It's gone down every year.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? It's 250.
State is looking at applying that excise or gift tax by the license. For big meetings. That's not been passed. But see, maybe this year. Maybe. All right, department head salary. It's yours now, Jason.
Okay. Basically on the department head, laborers, that type of stuff. I went in and put 3% increase on some of that. You'll see there the clerical wages is down to 0. I do not have anybody out there helping me for the desk anymore. So there was no reason to have that in there. Laborers, you can see that we had projected at 450,000, which was about $15,000 cut from last year. The mayor and I talked this morning about on this budget that you have in front of you. It has a total reduction of $184,012. Okay, so that's what I had proposed to take the budget down from last year to that number. Try to get closer to the estimated revenue that's anticipated, which is what the mayor was just kind of in with. Last year, it was the estimated revenue was basically 1.2 million, and that's anticipated to go down this year with a couple of things that the mayor just spoke about. So for me to get that, my budget number down closer to that 1.2, these are the cuts that I had put in there. And as you can see, the projected budget at 1.4, $1,456,534 is still higher than last year's estimated revenue. So that's why I tried to reduce the best that I could.
Do you have those line items that you think that's too?
Yeah, they're basically all on these sheets. Yeah. On the percentage
I
change.
know, but if you just had like if a little bit off of everything and not just a big chunk somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of off of almost all of them.
I'm requesting that we add back in 1,000 to that other expected revenue amount, and get us closer to where we ended up with the budget this past year. Those additions would be obviously line item 42900, just in the second page, about 2/3 down. Numbers at 50,000. To be able to, that's contractual services to bring that number.
Yes, we have to slow down a little bit, but what you said, we need to mark these to make changes.
Yes, thank you. 43100. Contractual services,
Okay,
supposed to take that to 170. That's really what we're gonna use for streets itself or for outside contractors. That'll could be used for match from CCMG or directly in there.
you're making it 170.
Right, add 120 to the projected of 50.
The other area that concerned me too was vehicle expense.
That was 25,000 last year. We took it down to 2 based on the percentages of usage up till the end of June. That's why that one got reduced.
Which number?
That's 422.0200.
0200 vehicle expense.
Put it at 12 instead of 2.
Yeah. And
I'm
10 of
still not, what's the number?
Vehicle expense up here.
422.0.
It's about a third of the way down on page.
Well, it went from 25 grand to 2 grand, and that's not.
And like I said, the reason for that was looking at the percentages of what was used. That's how I based a lot of these deducts,
Okay,
was using the percentages of what had been used through June.
But it was still last year, the actual was 7,500, 7,600.
Right.
right.
It was anomalous, it's been an anomaly this
Is
year.
that outside? Is that like taking it to somewhere?
A little
Or
bit,
is, or is that usually, is that also
it-
incorporating your internal time?
Yeah, some of that is based off of where, when I fill out the claim form, what number I put on there.
Yeah.
Whether I classify it as a vehicle expense, whether I classify it as a repair, maintenance, what number I put. So, I've been trying to watch that a little bit closer so that I put, when we take it somewhere to have something done, which basically we don't do that much other than we have to take a 2-ton to Wiltshire every now and then to have something done. We don't have the computer hooked up or that mechanic doesn't have. Or like, for example, last week, I think we took the truck out here to fellas to have the front end blind. We can't do that. So those type of things, so when that vehicle expense.
None of hydraulics we have, one, I had mentioned earlier, one pump goes out, it's at $2,000.
It's on.
So,
Yeah, you don't.
it's something that we won't spend every year. But one occurrence could make us.
Snowplow repairs come out of that too. Repairs, snowplow, souls repairs.
No, I think a lot of that comes out of other expense, depending on what it particularly is.
Okay, but other expense, so it catches everything.
Yeah, kind of. So it's kind of the catch-all.
So what we proposing?
12 for vehicle.
Was 10.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
the 2 plus 10 minutes. And I think Mary and I talked the other 50 which would basically get us to 160. Of that, what he's wanting to put back, the other 50 would go into the laborers. Which would take, that's line item 411.0150. That would take the 450,000 for the projected budget up another 50, which would get it 500. First page probably 12.
Yeah, so the fourth item down.
To make that 500.
Correct. I ran the numbers of the employees that I have right now. Right now, I have 6 full-time employees. Looking to add at least, I have to add one more because I had one transferred out last week. So I need to add one more to at least get me to 7. A few years ago, my ideal number was to get me to 8, so I could have 2 crews of 4. But with the budget the way it was, I couldn't necessarily do that. But right now, I've got the money in there to add 1 to get me to 7. With this extra 50, that will probably get me pretty close to being able to add that 8th guy.
You just remember, that's not money. So we were looking at appropriation. So if you run short of money, it's gotta come out of here.
Right.
Yeah, where's it come from? Yeah, but that's probably been, I shouldn't say probably. If you see the revenues short,
Right.
It's your first.
Yeah.
Band-aid rip off.
And that's right now, I'm gonna replace the 1. I'm not gonna do anything with the 8th guy. We're the guy that I had going with the wastewater. In the last 3 years, I've lost 2 to park, 1 to wastewater, and 1 to water. I've lost 4.
we have place.
Yeah, I think I think
That's
I've
an
got,
internal transfer from existing to,
you're right.
that's what we think.
Yeah, so I think it'll be a smooth transition to get me to 7.
He's one side a lot of times,
He's been working.
so a lot of them. The idea is for us to do more concrete working.
Yeah.
If less of that out and having that extra person. 7 is probably a good number. Financially.
7's where I was at for a long time. So, you can see here. Part-time labor was a little, took it from 31,000 to 30,000. Vacation buyback. Right now, there's $4,000 in that budget. But I don't use that very often. I usually use the vacation and not making buyback on that. You can see there the maintenance wages. That $49,000 went away because that basically, like I said, the maintenance guy got moved up to being considered the laborers. So that's why that 49,000 is not there anymore. Those next items, I don't really have a lot to do with, perf insurance and all that. You see there 0%. Big
You just keep in mind that by raising this to 50, that's also gonna change.
raise some of those.
Change your perf, change your bike and. I don't think insurance, I don't know.
It's
Okay.
yeah, there's a few, we didn't go take all the 180 for Brent, so it's about 4,000 shy. That's gonna be sort of there.
Just going down through there, I mean, if you got questions, you just have to ask about them. Radio expenses, we took that out completely.
What's included?
You have to not use radios anymore, just use cell phones.
Mostly, we will use the radio some, like when we plow on snow and stuff, I tell the guys I'd rather use the radio. It's easier to pick that up and push the button as opposed to get on your phone and dial.
Are they all handhelds or got handhelds for everybody or does it?
Most of the trucks have truck radios, and the ones that don't, those guys take handhelds.
Yes.
Those just VHF. Those radios.
Yeah, we got a piecemeal them together all the time. We've got a bunch of them, but.
The police and firemen have access.
Yeah, I think I talked to Brad about, or Donnie, one of them, I don't remember which one of them. One of them I talked to about picking up some of the, before they got rid of them, great. If they had any that worked, we definitely take ones.
We've got an enormous amount of wealth of information. One of our firefighters, that's an expert on radios, so is Brad, so
Yes.
he's looking at everything, including our transportation. He's saved us a lot of money.
You can see on there on the computer expenses, it went from 4,000 to 16,000. The reason that was an increase of $12,000. We did purchase the Biolytics system, which is the Phaser rating system. And that's basically what that costs a year for that. So that's why I put that in that particular line item for that item.
And on the contractual services. So that is if we would hire somebody to do a street, right? That's where that would go. And then what about, because engineering services,
That's totally separate.
right? But that, it looks like on the actuals, not on the budgeted amount, but on the actuals, contractual services, it's zero year to date so far. Engineering is already at budget.
Correct. The contractual services, like we said, are a lot of times back when we did annual, or not back then, but when we do annual bid paving, it comes out of contractual services. Or like if we hire Straring to come in and pour curb and gutter, that comes out of there, which I just paid that bill for 2nd Street and 7th Street a couple weeks ago. So that doesn't show on this thing here, but those are what the contractual services consist of.
How much, what is the average engineering fee in the history? Because it seems like that between last year and where we are this year, it's like we're at $250,000.
Are you looking at the revenue expense?
I'm looking at the expenditures, the year to date,
Yeah, you also need to look at
the revenue to, or
Fund 203, which is a sub fund of 2203, which is a sub fund of 2201. Those need
Yeah,
to be considered together because that's the way the state wants it to be.
we use 2203 up before we use contractual services. Because 2203 has to be used for a certain list of items, paving,
It's maintenance.
maintenance, paving or
And
whatever.
maintenance and preservation.
So we try to use 2203 first, and then whenever 2203 runs out of money, then we fall back and start using contractual services isn't obligated to paving.
Just paving.
Correct. So that's why we try on the paving, we try to use the 2203 because we know that has to be paid.
And what that is 50% of the aviation distribution.
Yeah, that's.
Highway district.
Yeah.
And engineering fees aren't getting any cheap.
They're requiring more of it.
To do $1 million project, you're looking at $150,000 engineering. Project.
did we do $1 million project? We had $150,000.
We have some on the books.
We have-
looking at doing,
We have had,
but those will be federal grants. It'll take about 40 years to get here.
You still have to do the engineering.
Yeah.
that's the bottom line. I mean, anytime, like all these community crossing projects that we do, those all have to have plans, they have to have all that stuff that's done by an engineer. And that's where that cost gets. Now, I will say this, community crossings just changed this coming year from 75 NDOT 25 local to 80 NDOT 20 local. So we are going to only have to pay 20% of our community crossings opposed to 25. And part of the reason behind that change was for our communities to take that extra 5% to help pay for the engineering. Because before, community crossings, when you applied for those projects and you got awarded one, any engineering work was 100% community. Okay, nothing was paid by NDOT. So that's what they're kind of doing to try to help with offset that engineering cost. Is give you that extra 5%.
So you might need to give it to us.
And they hope so.
Yeah.
The maximum, we did $1.4 million in community crossings grants and received in 2022, between 24 to 2 rounds. The maximum we're eligible for this coming year. So that's also a difference. We do get lane, we can be in lane miles, but to get the lane miles, we do have to institute a wheel tax. So eligibility and there is a maximum that the lane miles comes out your maximum allowable from the state if you do get it directly. So at the end, there is a big cut from the state, probably to us about 45. They to us in the streets.
But we didn't get any for 25. We're not getting any money for 20,
Well, we're applying for the
for 26.
20, well, they reopened. They originally took 2025-02 away. Now they opened it back up. So we are gonna try to, I think, apply for 2025-02. Which obviously the projects wouldn't happen until 26, but
Some of these projects are sort of 2 years behind or more. That the project on Second Street is what?
that was a 2024.
Project, yeah, the one that they just did by the Vacant Park down through there. So I think, yeah. That was preceding even the mayor.
Clay Street and Second Street were 2023 community projects.
That's how far behind they are, but you gotta do the funding, you gotta get the engineering, you gotta do this.
Right. now for the way it was when you were awarded your community crossing grant, you had 4 months to start the project. Is the way it used to be. Now NDOT stepped in and said, now you only got 3 months. So what's that force you to do? They're trying to tell you have to have shovel-ready projects ready to go. So that means you have to spend the money on the engineering
On the front side.
on the front side, not knowing whether you're even gonna get the project. So you may have X amount of dollars spent on the engineering side, and when you apply for it, you don't get the project.
How often does it happen to us?
Would not very often before.
Oh, you-
How long will your engineering, designs last? Will they?
Oh, they're good for, I mean, you can reapply the next time, or you can just do the project yourself.
What I'm saying
And
is,
forbid.
when you pay for that engineering, how long that engineering plan lasts? So if you don't get the money next year, following year, that same engineering will work.
Yeah, the engineering doesn't change, doesn't go away, unless you wanna add something to it, but.
You edit the project in some, if you finish it,
Then, yeah, it could change something, but I mean, for the most part,
great work.
pipe works, replacements, pipe work.
Only caveat to that would be if, say they change what they expect in the project, you know, if they expect a different level of flood water or.
And there, I remember in 2016, when they started community crossings, NDOT stayed out of it. Well, NDOT being NDOT, they wiggled their way in back into this more all the time, having the time. It used to be easy to deal, and it's not that it's hard, but they keep trying to get their foot or, you know, in the door more and more, but what their requirements are, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
We're only able to do it because of lit and. It was like that, because of lit wheel taxes and the reason we're able to do what we've done.
Yeah.
And that's,
Wheel tax referred to insurance state, local.
they're forcing us to go local with it now.
I heard Jasper Evans with this voter this week.
I think there's been 12 communities in Lansing. Around the state. I got all this stuff. So. Especially it's about 25, or this state is about $25 per household per year, it's paid. Raising.
Per
year.
Yeah, it's like for people.
25.
So if you have 7 vehicles for all.
Yeah.
Driving.
Yeah, then you also have big trucks that are paying over.
Well, you know.
The vehicles.
That's an average, which is misleading, because if you have a trailer for both, it's a lot less than if you have a semi. Or you have a dump truck or something, so, it is still, heavily weighted in commercial vehicles.
You can deal with like.
No,
Go buy something more with this.
Yeah.
it come down to.
There.
I sold and gave them to my kids and.
Thank you for your input into that then. But other than that, got the street preservation the same.
How are new sidewalks coming along? Do we have a plan, or there anticipated ones? It looks like they're still. Looks like, yeah,
There is.
Yeah.
The big one's gonna be 19th Street. It's gonna go from
where those,
Northside Park up to Chestnut. We're working on that this fall and throughout the winter on that one.
So they took the trees all off and they got the whole town level.
We have to get 4, we had to acquire right away on 4 properties there that they owned in the back of the curb, so we didn't have room to put the sidewalk. We have to get 4 landowners to sign off on right away agreement there.
Has any of them done it?
No, because we had it drawn up. And there was 2 or 3 of them didn't like the amount of right of way that we were asking for. So they didn't really want to sign it. So we had to go back in and lessen the right of way. So we did that. I just got those papers back a week or 2 ago. Now I'm trying to get a right of entry paper from the city attorney so that I can put that with the right of way papers down in the clerk's office, so that when they come in, they can sign both of them at the same time. Right of entry paper, what that will do, will allow us to get off of the right of way onto their property to do work.
Oh, okay. See, originally when that was drawn up, for instance, here with that bank there, we needed to go about 20 feet. Right away, to be able to bring that sidewalk on that bank. We'll make that a straight line down to there. When it got to the end, the people in the end were given like 30 feet of property, and then people at the other 20. So coming back where everybody's gonna be doing 20 versus that, because that was a contention with the people that didn't want to sign it. Why is my neighbor giving 20 and I have to get it?
Yeah, we made it the same.
So the right of way is not gonna be a
Yeah.
perfect straight line. But it'll be, it'll all be 20 feet.
They
The
also-
road isn't straighter.
Still gonna look like they're
They
going.
also do like
Yeah.
a temporary construction
Because
right
the
away
lines
for
are
this
straight.
route. Be honest,
Right of entry, that's all kind of the same.
it's all terminology. That allows you to be on a certain property while you're doing maintenance work or projects or wrong. Other than that, you're not supposed to. It's
So
not,
the
it's still their
sidewalk is
property.
gonna be in a straight line.
Sidewalk will be right behind the back of the curb.
I hear
Yes.
a lot of people complaining about just. So that complainer, I'll say, listen, I brought it up, but yeah. it'd be
That
in a
one
straight-
had, because of the
Yeah.
power poles, it could not be
Yeah,
moved.
yeah,
We had no
yeah.
choice with that.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
So it was either put it that way or there wasn't sidewalk.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
there won't be that issue on just, or on 19.
If that's the complaint, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Say, how about we got a sidewalk?
Yeah.
That, the one that we're getting ready to put in, I think will be, I know will be
What about straight line?
used a lot.
Well, yeah.
Pass,
You see 'em.
obviously I drive that road a lot and I see people all the time on both sides of the road and.
Well, and then it's nice that they don't have to go through the neighborhoods too.
It's nice, but one thing, but man, you gotta have you have your head on the wheel, and then there's poles.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big sidewalk project that's coming up.
That's a pretty lengthy sidewalk. That's well needed.
What about next year? Do we have plans for next year's sidewalks? Do you have anything?
Depends on whether you
Nice.
give them any money.
Already we put 25,000 in the budget for new sidewalks several years ago. And it's-
Well, it was up to 45.
Yeah.
Last year the budget was 45. Then when they had to cut budgets, they took it down 25. And then, so that got it down to 20, and I left it the same this year at 20. So it would be $20,000 in the budget.
How many
Can we
feet of
do-
sidewalk does 20,000 get?
A lot of it just depends on like prep work, like
Retaining walls.
like retaining walls. Do we have to acquire right of way? Because to me, like when we have to do this right away, that money that we have to spend to acquire that right of way, I take out of that sidewalk fund because we're putting the sidewalk in there, so we had to do the engineering, or not engineering work, but the survey work.
Acquisition.
Yeah.
It's clear.
So I can't sit here and tell you
Yeah.
exactly, what.
We have a
But
we have a
if
bid
you
price.
don't have that much money left in the budget, you think we'll still stay on budget? What you're doing on
What we're
19
trying to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that to be $16,000? Good.
Yeah.
Flip right back.
We'll be pretty close because we won't have, I think I've already got the right of way acquisition paperwork and stuff done, and that's already out of there, so I think that will be solely basically for concrete. I mean, I don't, here's the thing too, you know, when we go in there and dig those out and we make grade for them. The stone that we use to do that doesn't necessarily come out of that fund. Because it's hard, we get the stone in bulk in the shop, we haul it out of the shop in single axle or 1 ton or 2 ton trucks and use it. There's no way to tell exactly how much I'm using. So that's not coming out of that budget, so to speak. So really, the only thing that comes out of there is that's left to come out of that particular sidewalk is the concrete. So. Yeah,
Do you have plans for anything on the east side? Seems like the east side could be a place for years, which is. Was there about the east side on it?
They got all new sidewalks on Clay Street.
Yeah,
I mean-
You get Clay Street,
Yeah.
section of 8th Street. It's
That's the- yeah,
What do you-
that's on your side. That's on your district.
Well, I
And
like to keep it coming. I mean, I
I
think
mean-
that we are the least.
Jason-
sidewalk- we have the least
Jason
sidewalks
has
in the
my,
city.
Jason has my preference. He has my hit list.
The plan, yeah, and you know, you guys are more than welcome to give me those, you know, the plan that the mayor and I come up with a few years ago was, obviously, the number one thing was we would try to get people to school, or to the stores,
Connectivity.
you know.
Just
Whether whether it was a
I
park,
know
whether
there's-
it's school, whether
Grocery
it's.
store.
There's a lot of people in
Grocery
Van
store.
Buren that are walking to the Dollar General, and there's a lot of people without cars on. the east side.
I mean, the other one, the other big one that we've looked at is 12th Street from Chestnut to IGA. A lot of people walk that one. That's true. That one's very hard for
Power pole.
power poles, mailboxes, right away, and all that.
It's just different.
Again, I can get that done, but that $20,000 that's in that budget probably won't cover that whole sidewalk by the time you throw in all that stuff.
No, so we're maybe just be showing. Requiring them to go down 14th Street and get a Geiger to. Well, or something
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, you know, we gotta look at.
Sometimes if there's even a sidewalk path, but I can't go anywhere on my front door with a sidewalk, and I have to go a substantial distance before I even come to one sidewalk.
I can't.
Well, but it's like, there's a lot of people, there's not a lot of walkers in your area that are most of your neighbors have cars. And not all of mine do, and so it's like that's something that we need more walkability. I think we need to really have I would like to see some sort of comprehensive 5-year plan as to what we're gonna do to help that. Because it breaks my heart whenever we see people, I see on 231 all the time, women and children walking along 231. Because it has a larger shoulder than what Van Buren does, and cars fly the same speed on both, so.
Bigger cities, you see a lot of bike lanes. Is there something, you know, temporary that we could do on some of the streets that would, where we just stripe it and designate an area?
Designated,
The street's gotta be wide enough.
You gotta have all of the requirements.
That's the biggest thing. You gotta have probably to do that. You gotta have 12-foot lanes, 24, and you gotta have the bike, I think is 6 or 8, so you're looking at 32 foot wide from curb to curb.
That's the reason.
We don't have that many of those.
I
That's
don't even have curb.
that's part of the issue.
You're welcome to buy one. That's how they welcomed me to the neighborhood. When I moved in April, they came to my house in May or June and knocked on the door and they presented me with a bill for proposal for buying the street. And here you go.
My first year here, I had to do that on 10th Street. I had to go to all those property owners and say, here, this is what it's gonna cost you. You can either sign it or it'll go on your taxes. And it's like,
If we,
Okay.
it all comes down to money. We can do a 5-year plan. And it really looks good on paper, but if we don't have $1 million to do
There's
it,
funding.
it becomes, we're keeping it.
Well, I think or just if we're kind of have a plan and it's not like we have to do it all at once, but if we just have goals of where we would like to see it, or there has to be something sort of like the
well, I
park
think
usage, heat,
The
tracker of where people are walking.
priority right now are parks, medical facilities and grocery stores, or food sources, backwards. From those areas and
Getting to businesses.
that was
That's where
our
they're gonna walk
plan
to.
when we first came up with this.
when we looked at what's expended on streets and areas, it looks like nothing's being spent in different areas, but it is. We've got 8 streets set up for next year's 2 in each precinct. There's same thing, and as sidewalks are upgraded, it's the same thing. So, Lay Street was probably the biggest sidewalk project.
Clay Street was, yeah, because that's got sidewalk on both sides.
Yeah.
I probably spent more on the east side than did in any of the other areas, and even with 19th Street being done, it's gonna be pretty close, but.
I mean, that's how and like the mayor said, when I do my 5-year paving plan, I take, obviously, my Pacer ratings, that plays the biggest factor into it. And then I take those and I try to take the lower numbers and I try to put, for each year, I try to put 2 streets from each district in that paper plan. So, right now, you know, obviously, I mean, we're down to, we don't have any, knock on wood, we don't have any streets ranked ones. But we've got a lot of 2s and 3s, so those are the ones that, you know, fill out that 5-year digging plan. To be done in the next 5 years.
So low score is worse conditions.
Yeah,
Also look at other things as an example. You know, water utility situations underneath, does that utility have funds? Is it best to do it in 2026 or wait 2027 and place water main at the same time and bring another stream? So there's some other considerations. You know, we had limited funds and then streets, our utilities would be something like that, because they couldn't put the infrastructure back in. I mean, it's.
Well, it seems like both departments should be working together to collaborate a little bit.
They do.
they do.
They do.
What about like the, so with your system that you have, is it like where every district is about the same as far as having the same number of 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s? Or there's some?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I do have that broken down. You can see that sometime, and I can show you like your district.
Yeah, I just sent that out.
Yeah.
Are you
Because
using,
he doesn't see it, bro.
Do what?
are you using that new system?
I have started, but I haven't, obviously, I don't.
Them two every year. Oh,
To do that, to use that new Violytics program, you basically mount this to the front of your hood of your truck. It's an iPhone. And you mount it to the hood of your truck and you just drive the streets. Now, you have to go both. I want to do it because I want to collect the sign data too. So when you do that, you have to drive both directions, obviously, because you have to see the signs from both ways. If I wasn't doing the sign part of it, like next year, once I get the signs in there, I won't have to collect the sign data every.
How many of those do you have just one phone?
Yeah.
Could we put it on police cars sometimes to get some of that data for areas that you don't have?
Or is what,
Well, like if they're, just so that you're not spending your time driving the streets, if they're already patrolling, could you work
Oh.
together with them? Put that on a police car?
that's good. But I don't know that they'd want to mount it to the hood of the car.
They got a hair on.
Yeah, and take off in the police case with it mounted on the hood of their car.
Just to try to be
It's-
more source. covered,
But I
you
think,
know.
you know, it won't, once you get it done, you know, you do it once a year. And then the guys, you know, there's a lot of advantages to having it because you can, there's no limit to how many times you can submit a road for its Pacer rating.
It's not subjective.
Look at their back, it was.
The guy that I got it from, he said a lot of communities put them in their street sweepers. Because they're street sweepers, but ours doesn't run all the time.
yeah. You got a big enough community that.
Yeah.
It runs 24.
I mean,
Basically,
Jasper's got
runs
two of them that run
Knock the
every day.
majority of that out, where it's not another person just wasting the day driving on the street of town.
Just if it took, you know, a month of just normal driving where you're going to and from places. Then at the end of the month or two, you realize you never got on 30% of the streets in that period of time, then you just don't have to drive those to get the data.
And I basically, when I started, I just kind of mapped it out in the 4 quadrants. And when I'm gonna try to do each quadrant. It doesn't take that long, but it really don't.
If that's not time. Running cash basis.
Once you run through the intersection of Highway 231 and 64, submit that to NDOT. See if that number negative user rating for that intersection be addressed.
Actually, we talked about that. Jasper is beginning that process now.
There's
Highway 56 and some others.
You can do them on the highways like that. It'll give you the Pacer rating.
What is your speed? The speed of the vehicle have to be under a certain
40.
40.
It takes a picture, I think it's every 5 seconds or something. So obviously, the slower you go, the better. You know, your pictures and stuff. I mean, it'll give you manhole locations, it'll give you storm sewer locations, potholes, all that stuff, so. Finished out the budget there, employee licenses, you can see I took that from, and I had no idea why that was at $10,000, other than I think what that was CDLs. We bumped that up a few years ago when they increased what it cost to get a CDL license. Now we've, because the one guy I got cost me a little over $7,000, I think, in getting his. Now we're doing some of that in-house, so.
You gotta send them to school.
Yeah, we don't have that as much, so I dropped that one down.
All the departments are working together on the CDLs.
4 weeks of 4 week school.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty.
And then you can see there on the vehicles, I took that from 40,000 down to nothing because I have no plans to purchase any new vehicles next year. Equipment wise too, I lowered that one again. You know what? I have to reiterate, I have no plan to do that. It's not to say something.
Come on.
What if I'm up?
Outbuildings that, and it's kind of reporting from the new roof or repair the roof, how we're gonna, we stand on it.
Yeah, we should be able to send that out.
So yeah, I think obviously
We're waiting on an engineer.
this would go towards that, yeah.
I would like to suggest that we bump that sidewalk thing back. I don't know, maybe it gets stripped out later, but. What you all think about it. We started with 25,000 5 years ago and tried to get it up and got pulled again, might pull that last year somewhere, but I really think that's something that I'm passionate about, trying to keep that in front of there, and that's for new creation. What do you do rehabs? What area, what budget line item do you do rehabs? They.
Comes out of rock, sand and concrete.
And
Comes out of the street and alley materials. It comes out of
Sometimes contractual.
Contractual, if you're gonna do handicap.
contractuals, yeah, because we don't do the. No, we're
Yeah.
not. We can't do those.
It's just gotta be a certain way.
Yeah.
But it looks like those have been interventions for the past year.
Instead of always being a budget.
What's that?
Wait,
You know, realize what's in the budget doesn't always.
I mean, what the
All right.
I'm looking at the actual,
Revenue.
the actual.
Tom can explain that
Concrete was
to you.
15,000 last year.
You know,
I mean, it looks like there's money in there to be able to.
we've had, if you look at the pipe fittings, look at that. Look at what we spent on pipe fittings through 6 months of this year.
A load of rock is worth $1,000.
And one,
Almost-
last year's was 17.
It was almost, we spent almost 82% of our budget in June, and up from January to June in our pipe budget. Because
You're at 12,000.
that's a lot of storm sewer repair that we had to do this year,
You just, every time you,
and we ain't close to being caught up or done on it.
no, you ain't even close.
No. So, you know, it goes to some of those line items like road salt.
Well, then, is it something that we need to redo, then make the pipe fittings bigger? Because I don't like that we're robbing from Peter to pay Paul on these, maybe we need to have more real actual. So if the pipe fitting, if we need that to be higher, let's make that higher. Because I don't like that the sidewalk budget gets pulled.
And I did get, I did put $3,000 in the budget on pipe fittings, pipe and fittings. An additional part there. Or as a salt bill, road salt bills, that's a crapshoot. What you're gonna use there, I mean, I have to submit it in May, what I'm gonna use for the year.
Well, I will speak for this too, you know, as we raise the budgets, it doesn't mean the income raises.
Hey, that's what I always say.
So,
Yeah,
that's-
we're looking at appropriations, budgeting appropriations.
and we're
not the cash.
these budgets are against projected appropriations and we don't always get everything.
Well, get everything they want.
So if I guess the bottom line, we spend every penny of our budget, we could be in debt. we would be in the hole a lot of money. Cause
I
not
get that,
everything,
but I think on a majority of the things, it seems like we've been. Like, where we're not using all of them, I don't like that the sidewalk fund is the one that's an easy one to pull from.
That one doesn't. The sidewalk fund, the money, the only money that comes out of the sidewalk fund is for sidewalks. Nothing else comes out of it.
that money is spent.
Because that one, when you told me, or when the council told me to put that in there, or put that in there, it was solely for new sidewalks only. Not even the repairs, it was new sidewalk, so I don't take anything out of that one.
It's not maintenance on existing
No,
sidewalks.
and
It's
the other
to
one
create
was
new paths.
the construction preservation. I mean, if you look at that one, that was at 75,000 last year. They cut 55 out of that. That took that down to 20. And I left it at 20 this year. That one is very important because that's the ones that maintains the roads.
Is it maybe because it's put into different accounts, because it looks like the actual that was used for the construction preservation was 2,100 in 24. So
Yeah,
it was 7,500, 75,000 was budgeted and only 2,100 hit that account. It's actually.
That had to be, that's not right. Cause I know we,
Are you looking at account fund 203 as well?
No, I'm only looking, he said the construction preservation line, so that's what I was.
Okay,
Because then that's where he was talking about.
That's
that
where-
line item.
that's like what Tom's saying is that 203, Fund 203 is the one that,
you're looking at the actual revenue and expense report, you need to consider them both together. The budget doesn't do that,
The street repairs,
you know.
no, that's 202.
Yeah, we'll get into that part of thing.
I just want to make sure that I'm understanding apples to apples, or that if we're taking some money out, because it's like to out of that one line item to take 55,000 out. Seems like it's okay because we only used, because I guess we used the 2203 funds,
correct.
so then we only needed,
Because-
we only took a small amount out of that actual
the
preservation.
key to remember on all that is the 2203 funds have to be for preservation or for new strip and repaving. So then that allows this other money that's there to be able to possibly be used for something else.
One with Steve, I'd like to see that number written. We get, I don't know how y'all feel, but phone calls that I get from constituents are potholes and sidewalks. And there's other things too, but I don't get a huge number of calls, but and I'm not done a scientific study on it, but that's what I keep going back to is potholes and sidewalks.
They don't care about what we bury in the ground,
No.
only what they can see.
Excited, they forget about people.
Well, that
forget
being
about
said,
cleaning
though, we gotta
our-
make sure what we bury in the ground, because people
Yeah,
hate
we do.
even more to see a brand new road, with a huge socket in it
Yeah.
from,
That's what
yeah.
that's what mostly, that's your pipe, that's all that stuff. Rock, sand, pipe, working with the other departments, that's all being done. But you can't, and we offer, you can't always plan for that. We don't know what's gonna break, we don't know what customers or city. Residents, suddenly they're decide to. Put a new sewer in or whatever, suddenly they're told it doesn't work.
No, this isn't the place for it, but I do think we need to consider. Some type of an ordinance that requires a homeowner to. If we're gonna put pavement down in their street, it needs to require that they upgrade their sewer lines. So that it needs to be inspected, and if there's a problem, it needs to be fixed so that we're not. Putting a road down and then within a year cutting it back up, because if you drive down, a good one as an example is Jackson Street. Which fortunately there's been some new pavement on parts of Jackson Street, but between. Third and fourth, that road is probably 85% really good concrete. But there's some spots in it where road cuts have happened and the road cuts have sunk and it makes the whole road feel bad. If those could be fixed, you wouldn't have to repair the whole road. But the road cuts are horrible. And it gives the impression that the whole road is bad when it's really not, if you pay attention to it. And so if there's a way that we could avoid 50% of the road cuts or more, I don't know what ordinance like that would solve, but we can. It seems like a waste of money.
That's where communication with the utilities is increased drastically. The point out where we pull up those, we know which ones have been replaced and which one haven't. We have contacted homeowners, hey, you know, if you do it now, you're gonna have to do it eventually. You can do it now, we can do it at a low cost for you, we can bring it in. Now, if you get in, we run into issues that if we replace somebody's lateral, we're gonna replace everybody's lateral. That's the issue. So now I'm selling my house, I want my lateral replaced, that you paid theirs. That is.
Well, I don't want.
I
understand
understand,
the topic,
but I will tell you, let me finish here first. Talking to our utility departments, they said they've never had this level of communication on streets were going to be done, what they needed to do under that street. But will we have to have a curb cut? Will we have to make a cut later on in the street? Maybe, but it's not going to be 50% of it. So maybe a home here. Or maybe a sinkhole, that's been sinkholes and just that we've had to take care of, you know, like Fleet Street, we've got down here on Jackson. There are things it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Washington's got a big.
what if, let's just pretend, because I.
But the laterals, we take care of as much as we can.
Can we fix it from the street to the curb? Can we just fix those if we see that that's bad?
Oh.
Because then they wouldn't have to cut into the
We
street.
don't own them.
No.
yeah, but we pay for it.
We normally camera those if we're gonna. do
Wait,
a project.
The way the process works, when I get the street list of the streets we're gonna do, I let all the utilities know. Okay? Wastewater will then look at their laterals that they have. If they're bad, they'll let the homeowner know that they need to be down. When I say bad, it's the connection from the lateral to the main, because that's all they can technically do, because that's what the city owns. They'll look at those, they'll let those guys know, they'll let all those people that live on those streets know that we're gonna be repaid. If they want to have their lateral inspected, they will go in and do that. Wastewater. If they find it bad, then it's up to the landowner to pay for it. If they don't have, they just let it go. Does the landowner have to pay it? I don't think, or have to do it. They don't have to. It's their.
Well, that's
Best
the question
interest.
we've always been talking to since we got on the council. I mean, we'll blacktop a street and then like within 3 months, there's one cut already because they're gonna sell the house now. So my thinking would, we would inspect all the sewer lines going in. And if it needs repaired before they blacktop the road from the main to the curb, what my suggestion would be, that's gotta get repaired. Now, if they don't wanna fix it up to the house, that's up to them. You know, but it's gotta get fixed from the curb to the main wherever it ties into. If we got our equipment out there digging it, we can dig it, let the plumber comes in and finish it. And
Yeah.
Is that why we're having issues with wastewater? Because there are some laterals that are bad.
Because a lot of as well, filtration.
Yes, it's, yeah.
I mean, that's a call you guys.
There's two ways to go about that. The one way we try to incentivize the customers by say, look, we're gonna forego making you pay the street cut or whatever that is, because we're cutting the street in. If you do it while we're doing a project here, we'll forego that. The other way is that you could come up with an ordinance and draw up something that anything from the curb, when we're in there doing a street and we could mandate that we have to, if we have a bad sewer lateral where we could mandate that must be repaired. We could go in there and have that done. We could have a plumber do it. We could do it from there to the curb line or whatever to our right of way. And then we could basically, Bill could attach something to that property. So when the property gets sold, we get our money back.
Right.
But I don't know that you can force the resident to pay for it.
The other thing.
At the time of the service.
Ask them to pay for it, but they don't, then you put it on.
And how is this?
Can't
gonna
have a
be a
mechanic
big plan? What
when you're
makes people, how much time do they have? Because if it's gonna cost $5,000, you can't go to majority of people and say, we are gonna do it this week, decide it's gonna be $5,000.
Well, it's not, we
I
have, they know about these, we know about these street projects for months.
Right, but I mean, as like where, that's what I'm trying to say though, is like, what is the timeline?
Well, here's something that I'm gonna throw to you guys and let you mull this over. I've seen this done in different communities when talking to other street superintendents, but what they do is their community might have I think it may be an ordinance, but what it says or what it does is it prorates how old the street is. Okay, Pam lives on a street that we just paved a year ago. She decides she's selling her house, has it inspected. Now her sanitary line's bad. She has to fix it, okay, before she can sell. Her street's only a year old. Now that street cut permit might cost her, instead of the normal fee of $50, might cost her $500.
Because you're cutting into a newer.
Newer street. Now, 10 years, that 500 might be down to 50.
You
I
pro,
think
you
when we
prorate
looked at it,
the
you know,
price of the street cut.
They didn't have this when you sold the house that we bought, needed this, only to be replaced, and it was going to be
What
10,000.
do you mean? Here?
No, we didn't do that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was
They
like,
didn't do they didn't check that, and
We were-
all we did was say some prayers that it
one,
held out, because it was gonna be, the street cut fee there was like 10 grand. So
That's
it's
to my point.
like to make it more, put skin in the game, that they care when this is done, you know, I mean, if you're gonna sell your house, you kind of have a plan.
You kind of have an idea if you're gonna sell your house within the next.
You should have.
I know.
and it doesn't really technically say that in the quote, in the ordinance. The ordinance is basically, you can sell your house with a bad sewer lateral. The next guy just can't hook up utilities, they just won't turn them on. No, nobody says that the existing homeowner must pay for that and have that repaired. I bought several houses with bad laterals, I had to pay for them, but I just took it off the price of the house when I bought it.
But it don't help us at all having a new street put cut. That's good.
Right, and there's.
And I think maybe the starting point will be with this system that you have to kind of say, okay, these are the ones and twos, if you live on a house that's a 1 and 2.
And we've done that.
To maybe send out a notice.
When I started,
Generalities,
Yeah.
because these streets are getting paved now, you won't see is the number of curb cuts, 50% here. As well, I mean, curb cuts in the paving. There'll be some here and there,
Yeah, well,
but also let you know that a properly patched area, you should notice. And that's, I think at one time, we just were using single fill and other methods to patch those holes.
From the
Is that-
probably is sewer.
yeah, we had from 19, we had lapse over there.
On my house,
We replaced everything.
Washington and
It's one that
Orchard
was
Road.
an unknown. They don't
Farm
want to
Ridge.
just sinkhole.
I walked last night, there's a sinkhole developing there.
It wasn't that, so.
What's that, Rose? What's your
It's
son's
gonna
dad
have
house?
less.
Oh.
It's just been the. Which,
Washington Street,
but nobody on First Street had a problem. Washington Streets.
the last house on the left before you get to Ordu.
They had a problem. Wall Street.
300 south. South.
It's a green.
It's not really more established.
It's.
South Washington.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's
it's right before it makes the strike and turns into Orchard Road.
It's got a circle around. Someone's sleeping.
Yeah, somebody circled it.
That's what any of those that I'm trying to get caught up on.
I just noticed it last night because I got stepped in it when I was walking with my wife. I'm like, oh crap.
That's why that.
Don's probably walked by it 100 times by now. I know Matt has.
But you know, everybody was concerned about the cut in 231 here by Jeff's. And that's smooth. Because it's properly put back.
Yeah.
Speaking
Speaking of digging stuff up, Jeff.
What's my problem? Yeah, Jeff had one.
That house was sold before the vote was done, I think, wasn't it? Then they blocked off it, then they cut it.
And there was one
Your
to the
neighbor?
north and one to the south of me, neither one of them were mine, I wanted to take it. make sure.
I'm sitting here too.
You wanna,
Oh, I think we should come back and revisit that conversation, because if we can avoid them easily by either, giving proper incentive or I think requiring that they pay for From the meeting.
The combination, I think we should incentivize them, and I think we're already incentivizing, but maybe there's more we can do. But then there might be the other half where you just. It can't be done right now, but we know that it's going to rear its ugly head. We need to solve that problem out in the street, and then we'll come back and address it at sale time or something, whatever.
Or even to-
Yeah,
If there are too many, we just won't do the streets.
yeah, we can't
If
do
we have enough streets, we have 128 streets.
Brad's guys at wastewater
Yeah,
have done a good
they're
job
good.
of getting the streets. That we're gonna pave, getting them looked at, that's for sure, and getting them.
They have no problem coming down the camera and anything. They've been lots of places I've asked them to come, hey, check this out. They come down, check it out, make sure it's good.
Well, and even too, if we have something where it's like, okay, if your road is a 2 or a 3, let's start with it, like have a plan for the lateral checking too. Because I know the streets at the last time, they changed the last time, okay, so that's where it started, it's 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
I give them that 5-year paving
We didn't
paving
change the
plan,
sidewalk
that's
on
when
there.
they start. On their rounds, right?
Yeah.
Start
And
digging,
then
start
the people get
looking.
notices,
Laterals
if
were prepared this
it's
year,
good
we
or
got
if it's
that
not,
last year.
either way they get.
I don't know,
noticed.
I don't know how they do it, I know they have the information.
They come around
They
and-
do go check.
They
What they
come
do
around
with
and
it, I
see.
don't know.
They can come around and talk to the homeowners. and things.
Yeah.
We're gonna do everything. That's what I'm just asking. So you got it down to 20, you want to put it back up to 25, what do you want to do?
I do.
Me too.
That's 4 people now. All right, let's say, can we move
Okay,
that up? to
I guess
25?
we need a motion because that's. This is a council meeting.
Make a motion, we agree to
Well, why don't we do that, all the motions at the end, so.
There you go.
Yeah.
25, I think we should move that back to 25 and try to maintain that. I know that would maybe. And if we have to cut something, maybe we should cut it somewhere else.
So we changed.
We tried to add last year and then it took all that away, but I think maintain that level.
444-0000 was changed to 25,000. And then line item,
Wait. What do you think? 444-00.
444.000, that 20 now, we're making 25. And then.
Plus 5.
Yes. And then we did something on. 422.0200. Was it 2,000, talking about increasing that back, is that correct?
12,000.
12,000,
Yes. We'll do all that at the end.
Work through.
Practical services.
He talked about laborers, 411.015.
Up to
Up to
2,500.
right, 2,500. That's all changes on street.
Yeah.
So we need a motion.
Well, let's do it all.
Is he done? Or we just?
No, I have one more question. If you look at line 436, there remains a building for 5,000. Then you turn the page over on line 445, there's about 0150 buildings for 50,000. So what's the difference between those two lines?
On the one that's 50, we have to maintain. To be eligible for community crossings, we have to make 50,000 in that account, is that correct?
Is that just a line item thing? 50 grand and you got 5,000 little payments of building stuff.
One of them for the actual physical building itself, and the others. Something with the maintenance within the building.
I see the one that you're saying, the building 50. 436.0000.
436, 6% from the bottom.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's one of
Here,
the-
maintenance, you got buildings on there.
13.
The buildings, I don't know why there's 1886 here, but the difference is if you look at the headline, these are capital projects, not repair projects. Those are large.
No, this one, yeah.
You think that qualifies as a capital expenditure.
Repair building, maintenance.
Generate utilities,
That's 46, 436.
We took the 5,000, we put it in there.
Yeah, 5,000.
That's for general, like. air conditioner, heater.
So at the end of the day, it'll go up.
Putting a door in, window, gutters.
Yeah, that's like minor stuff.
Okay.
The other one is for like
We can find.
roof for the
Serious project.
bigger, yeah.
All right.
That's
bigger
a,
problem.
that's more of a sinking.
Technically, could it all be in the same one? Yeah, I guess it could.
Whatever, church.
The way it is now.
CMG versus
Been
capital
20 years.
But no, wait, about 50 grand. As far as, like, we have to have a capital.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, capital,
Not-
yeah,
not budgeted, capital money.
We could do LRSA.
Okay.
If you want. Good. And that really hasn't changed.
That was 100%.
Where's that at?
It's on page 12.
yeah.
Page 12, LRSA. Today's computer that usually used for streets. As well,
Yeah, that's the,
it's available phones.
yeah, LRSA is,
And it has been 50, remains 50. It's there available for the same kind of work.
yeah. Sometimes that one gets used up, sometimes it doesn't. So
It has $373,000.
That LRSA, what is that one? Where,
that's
Yeah,
it's basically like what we were saying a while ago, it has to be used for road repaving, road repair, road maintenance, those type of things. That one, like Tom said, has got $300 and some thousand built up in it. You know,
what about for
The
the,
abortions.
where is that money coming from?
What's that?
The roof? Where is that money coming? Is that from like the last year, the building, we didn't use that money? And like the past couple of
I don't
years?
think that's been determined.
I was gonna say, I don't think we've.
Nobody's, we haven't allocated or.
We haven't got enough, we don't know what the dollars are.
Well, once we get the bid in, then we'll know more about what's in.
But I mean, if we have some money in an account because the buildings we haven't used these. I thought what was it?
There are ways that we could do it by moving some money around.
We could move money in from similar accounts, you know.
Yeah, some of those cash accounts that you see.
That they can only be used for certain things.
There's
Some could be used for everything.
Like the LRSA
I'll
money
have to go back
can't be
and
used
look
for
at
the
the
roof.
allowable usage for each of those
Is
funds.
that right, Tom? That LRSA money can't be used for the roof.
No, but you can use it for something else that you have done.
That I was using, gift card.
Use your
Right.
asphalt money for roofing,
Right.
basically.
Yes.
That's how it works. Called
He does.
the juggling.
Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
Adjourn, eat.
Yeah, we adjourn or do we recess? How do we do that?
We've actually got to set up to adjourn.
I'll make, come back. and mine.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the budget hearings.
We started one. Can we get lunch and give you that going?
Yeah.
I made a motion, somebody second.
I don't all go to the same place.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.